Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Beiderman with your Sactown Sports headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. But as of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49er Insider Emil Fragoso's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from beyond the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Your Sacramento State Hornets kick off the 2023 football season this Saturday, September 9th. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. Stingers up. Those are your headlines. Now let's get started with Whitey and Watkins.
They gonna take it for a W.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car. It's a show specifically for you, Sacramento. Whitey.
She got a new song out of this anyway. Hoops, I did it again. So that's right. Hello, is this on?
No, Watkins.
I'm sorry. I know I don't want to be the wet blanket on everybody.
It's Whitey and Watkins, and it starts.
Hurry up!
Now.
Speaking of new songs, thank you very much, CK916, for your kind words about the stupid thing I slapped together and threw on Twitter last night.
I gotta find this. I have not yet heard this musical excellence.
You're not missing out on anything.
You're so humble.
But thank you, CK916. Appreciate that. And thanks to Carmichael Dave. J-Mars here today.
That's me. The dry blanket in the building.
NBA Jam shirt, Buddy Healed, and De'Aaron Fox.
Yes, rookie De'Aaron Fox. It's a little faded now, but I still like the shirt. That's the thing with buying shirts like this. It's like, you have to know they're only going to really, truly last for like 1 or 2 years before someone's traded or walks as a free agent.
I save all those shirts. Deuce used to always make fun of me. He said, you wear the oldest shirts. It's like, well, I mean, like I have the 2002 Western Conference Finals shirt. It's like, it's still wearable. It looks great.
Is it?
Well, kind of.
Like, is it wearable?
People wear shirts, brand new shirts all the time. They're supposed to look old, right? So what's wrong with having a T-shirt?
I'm not. Listen, I'm here for the vintage look.
Okay.
It's just that particular.
Well, I know.
The content more so than the actual vintageness of it is what is bothering me.
I may also have a 2002 Pacific Division champion.
That's super cool. That's a great conversation starter. You know what I mean? Is that why you wear them? Because I feel like a lot of those shirts are conversation starters.
Can be, sure. Yeah, that's one reason. Somebody just gave me a shirt like that. My daughter just gave me a shirt like that, only it's MLB Jam, and it's Yu Darvish and Blake Snell. So, yeah.
Like Blake Snell, good. Yu Darvish, not great, right?
He's hurt.
Yeah.
So,
buddy. And then I got, so I have 3 of these NBA Jam shirts. So I have this one, and then I have it's a black tee, and it's a throwback. It's Weber and J. Will, which I like that one. And then I have another throwback one, which is Mitch and Spud.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's really nice.
No, I like that.
Your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
Christopher Loud, what's your shirt today? Your T-shirt.
Wrestling the Elite versus the Hardy Boys.
Who won?
The Elite.
Nice.
It's because they're elite.
Uh-huh.
How do you beat elite? You don't.
Who's elite in this contract dispute here between the 49ers and Bosa? I think Bosa's looking pretty elite, don't you?
I was going to say Bosa's agent.
Yeah.
Actually is the one looking really elite right now. I was having this conversation with Emil yesterday, and I want to get your take on this. Do the 49ers, whether that's Jed York, whether that's the front office, do they know they have no leverage? Like, has that entered their mind yet?
It's a great question. We had Rob Stats Guerrera on Friday, and he made a great point. When you think about it, the 49ers have a history of making these things more difficult than they have to be.
Yes.
Case in point, Deebo Samuel last year.
Yes, very difficult to the point that had Deebo, according to Deebo, mentally not there, coming into camp, out of shape. I don't think you'll have that issue with Bosa if and when this gets done, because the Bosas are known for their elite training regimen in the offseason.
But even the Trent Williams situation
Yep.
was kind of hey, it's according to legend, at one point, Trent Williams called coach and said, "Can you get this solved so I don't have to leave?" And then it took that for them to get over the hump. So, they do have a history of making these things, as I say, harder than they need to be. I'm with you 100%, Jay. It's like, hello, you don't have any leverage here. You have to give him what he wants because you need him that badly.
And then you hear the reports of $4 million, and it's like, is $4 million really worth upsetting the best defensive player in football? Like, is it really gonna hamstring your cap both now and the future over an extra $4 million annually?
They apparently think it will. And obviously I don't pretend to understand, cap room and all of that.
Do you think this is like, because I feel like this is more probably like Jed York than it is probably John Lynch, right? When it comes to the money.
My guess is it's Lynch and Parag Marate.
Really? You think
he's done a great job at holding this whole thing together?
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, obviously York at some point has to be holding the line.
Yeah, because
You're
I feel like York is the one. I feel like John Lynch and Parag would probably just be like, all right, just give him the $4 million. We'll figure it out later. I mean, that's the thing with these NFL and the salary cap. They find ways to circumvent it all the time and they figure it out later. So I feel like, is this a case of Jed York not wanting to be the owner that sets the precedent of paying the guy to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL? Is he trying not to set that precedent right now?
The only thing that makes sense to me, and I don't pretend to know, but the only thing that makes sense to me is it's somebody, whether it's Jed, John Lynch, Parag Marate, or somebody else in there in that pipeline, seems to think that if we do this, it's really going to hurt us and really going to limit our ability to keep the team together. I'm not saying they're right. I don't know, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Yeah. As far as, like, to your point, is it a matter of, we don't want to be the ones to cross that barrier? You have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
I would hope that that's not a concern.
I would hope so too, because it's not like you're paying some just, average Joe edge rusher. This is arguably the best non-quarterback in the NFL, whether you're looking at offense or defense, so it's not like you have to worry about setting the market. The market's always going to be, someone's going to get paid more than Nick Bosa at some point. Like, I feel like that's always been a weird excuse in the NFL of not wanting to set precedent and paying a guy. But you mentioned the Super Bowl. I just feel like for a team that has so many Super Bowl aspirations, boy, has there just been a lot of unnecessary drama. And it seems like this locker room is pretty tight-knit, but you got to wonder at some point, does that drama seep into the locker room at any point and kind of break up some camaraderie?
I think it's a great question. I was wondering the same thing last week. Why all the drama for a team that hasn't actually won anything?
And it's like they make up. We knew the quarterback drama was going to be a thing. Like, that was there, but also, again, their fault for it being there in the first place. But it's like, then you have this unnecessary drama around Bosa, which I don't think anyone expected. And then it's like, and now we have kicker drama too. It's like, why? We don't need kicker drama.
I know.
But we have kicker drama. Like, who has kicker drama?
That didn't go according to plan. On the other hand, and this is true, we've seen it. Once Bosa gets signed, whenever that is, I mean, if today they say, okay, we're good, it all goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the drama's gone once Bosa's
But now
signed.
you run the risk of actually playing a game without him, which is
no, you don't want
less than ideal, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, because we've seen in the preseason, right? Like, they had a little trouble getting edge rushers to the quarterback without Bosa in the lineup. Now you want to take that into game one. And, the 49ers have said, this team has notoriously gotten off to slow starts under Kyle Shanahan for the most part in his coaching tenure there. But they want to get off to a hot start this year. That's going to be really difficult to do in Pittsburgh, which is always a tough place to play, against one of the better defenses in the NFL. So your offense will, the 49ers will put up points, but it's not like they're going to put up, I think, 35 on the Steelers. You're going to want some reinforcements on defense. It's going to be what would arguably probably be a close game. You don't want to be missing your best player.
Well, let's be honest. The vast majority of NFL games now are close games.
Yes.
Even if it takes sometimes a bounce the ball to beat even lesser teams. That's just the nature of the game right now. And he makes a big difference. So he's vitally important. I have here, this is not necessarily a quiz, so I'm not trying to grill you. I would not have known this if I hadn't just looked it up. The 10 highest paid non-quarterbacks and what they're making. Do you have any idea? Well, I'm sure at the top of the list. The thing I wanted to see is we look at this list and then determine, hey, does Bosa belong at the top of this list? And if so, by how much? Aaron Donald is currently the top.
That's
He's the
I
highest
knew he
paid
was
non-QB.
31 per, right?
31.6. Then after that, it goes Tyreek Hill at 30, TJ Watt at 28, Devontae Adams at 28, Joey Bosa at 27. That's a nice contract, brandon.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow you out of the water.
Little brother getting more money.
Then it goes Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, Laramie Tunsil, Myles Garrett, and Quinnen Williams just signed that big deal. So he's the 10th highest paid non-QB. So, yeah, you look at that.
Yes, he deserves to be there.
No!
He deserves to be at the top of that.
Yes.
And I know a lot of this is because of age, but I'd rather have Nick Bosa than Aaron Donald at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing against Aaron Donald. Again, it's just an age factor. Yes, he should be at the top of the list. It's not even close. I just don't understand what is the holdup at this point, because you have to imagine these talks started at some point like last season, but then obviously the offseason comes and they pick up in earnest. Like, when did we get to this number? Like, when did this become how long has this been a point of contention, this particular issue of the money? Because, in NFL contracts, there's a lot to work out there. So when did we get to, has it been like 2 months that they've been in a holdout at this number? Has it been a month, 2 weeks? Like, were they able to get everything figured out? And then I want to know how long they've been at this number, because it seems like a relatively easy fix.
And what does the Ian Rappaport report today, the term, and I think actually it was yesterday, there has to be, did he use the term significant
movement?
Okay. So both sides pretty well dug in.
Yeah, no, everybody is dug in. We obviously know what Bosa's dug in on, but it's like, why are the Niners, why are we drawing the line in the sand here?
Mm-hmm.
And they've made it a point to say, we're not going to put these negotiations out there in the media. I feel like you might want to start leaking little tidbits, though.
Somebody's leaked something.
Yes.
And I think I know who it is. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Kind of like, gee, where did all that Trey Lance information come from? How do we now know that he's the third string quarterback? Yeah.
Are you saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Hey, agent's going to agent, man.
Wow, you're saying the Bosa side is leaking information trying to get their guy signed?
Sure.
Wow. An accusation like none other.
It's not even an accusation.
I
I
have to put allegedly on it just to make sure that you, sir, are safe from legal action.
Well, you said, I think Tim Kawakami wrote about it today. It's time for somebody on one side or the other
yes.
to start spilling some of this stuff to get some pressure on the situation. So maybe, I don't know, something actually happened.
Yeah, because us in the media are tired of speculating. We want concrete stuff now to break down. Jeez.
Yes. And as you pointed out, we've got a 49er game coming up Sunday, and we have questions. And you could say that about every team. We don't know if Bosa is going to play or not. And we have kicker questions. I just want to say this. I want to beat the rush here. Matthew Wright could be their kicker.
Yes.
And hopefully it's Moody, because, I've been on that Moody bandwagon from day one.
You bought the jersey.
I did. Yeah, I lost it.
Darn it.
Somewhere. Yeah. So he's dealing still with a quad strain and says he might kick. If he doesn't, then Matthew Wright would be the kicker. I just want to make this joke first, because if he misses one right, everyone's going to say, is his middle name Wide? Matthew Wide Wright.
Okay.
So I just want to beat the rush and be the first to get that out there.
Or if he misses one where the 49ers have been wrong, not right,
there you
in
go.
Signing
Good
it.
for you.
It's the interesting thing, though. Is
trademark that.
Do you think it's any coincidence that he's a former Steelers kicker and they have him potentially ready to the point where it's like, let's say it's Matthew Wright on Sunday, right? And he goes 3 for 3. And Moody's ready for week 2. They automatically cut him, right? Like, he's only here because it's against Pittsburgh.
And Chris Watkins, by the way, should be along today.
Is kicker trauma a good problem to have?
No, it's good though to have. Well, I mean, if you have two good options, it's better than like last week. It was like, well, both of our kickers are down. We need Wisnowski to kick. So it's not a great problem, but it's a better problem to have. But Chris Watkins was the one. And again, Chris should be along today at 2. He was the one that pointed out to me that, I'm sure you know this, Heinz Field, as we still call it, difficult stadium in which to kick. So that's to your point. That's why you bring in Matthew Wide Right.
Or will Matthew just be right?
Yes.
Is it Matthew Wright answer?
Yes. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, he'll do great. You know what?
Bosa's going to sign. They're going to be fine.
Kickers just kick, right? That's all they got to do. No problem. Bosa signs today, gets 4 sacks Sunday. Everybody's happy again. When
Kyle's barking and making fun of the media. Oh, you thought what was going to happen? What was that? Do you don't have any questions today about Bosa or why we don't know what we're talking about? Oh, okay.
I'm Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
You don't question me ever.
Yeah, no, you do not do that.
What is it with Kyle, though? Like, anytime he gets asked, like, just a legitimately fair question, he throws a temper tantrum.
I honestly think it's kind of like, maybe you're doing something. I know you have a son, right?
Yes.
You're doing something and maybe a young kid, maybe it's not even your kid. Sometimes it's like neighbor kid and they want to ask all these questions and you're like, I don't have time for your questions. I'm doing something. I think that's how Kyle is with the media.
Yeah,
it's like, first
that
of all,
makes sense.
I have stuff to do right now. I don't even want to talk to you. Then when you ask me these idiotic questions, I really have more important things to do.
But here's the problem. A lot of the questions are actually decent
Well, I
and fair,
know
and
that.
he treats it like that's idiotic.
Yeah.
Like,
They,
is it?
they are decent questions, but you have to remember Kyle Shanahan is the smartest person alive.
That's
Yes.
true.
NFL,
Yes.
so.
That's true.
Yeah. I know there was somebody, it might have been Grant Cohn. There was
Oh,
a story.
boy. Oh,
Yeah. And I
boy.
think he said to Kyle, this is documented. I think he's the one. He says, hey, it's great to have somebody back now. And it's great to have the West Coast offense back in San Francisco. And Kyle says, I don't run the effing West Coast.
How dare you confuse
Actually,
what
I
I
believe
do?
there are some of this offense has roots in the West Coast offense. So there's a different way to answer
Well,
that. in
yeah,
other
I would say,
words. But-
Kyle, maybe explain to us why it's not the West Coast offense. Explain to us why there are similarities, but while this is the Shanahan offense, this is the genius of me and Papa,
That's why there's so many people that don't like the 49ers because they resent some of his arrogance. Same time, if he gets this on track,
it doesn't
then
matter.
it's like Kyle being Kyle, and it's fine.
Oh boy.
Here's a question for you. Could Brock Purdy really be the 31st best quarterback in the NFL? The 31st best quarterback. Tell you who thinks he is when we come right back. Whitey and Watkins with Jay Mars in for Watkins today, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Thinking that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Select Twin Peaks for your fantasy football draft party. Stay cool under pressure with 29-degree draft beers, plus a $50 bonus card for the commish, and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more info.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life and your choices with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age, but there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemad.org.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
Thanks for being with us. Hope you had a great weekend. Can I just complain for just a minute?
Sure.
I know no one cares. Everyone has their problems.
I don't care.
I know, Tommy. My internet at our house went out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Was it Saturday night into most of Sunday? And it was, you think, what's the big deal? It's like, what is this, 1987 again?
Right. I don't wear the bunny ears.
Read?
Yeah. Did you get the rabbit ears out, put them on the TV? Did you cuddle with a good book by the fire?
Yeah, I was watching the Giants and Padres, and it was Frozen Saturday night, was it? So it was like, maybe I'm getting my nights mixed up. Whatever night, and it was like 6-0, and it's Frozen. There's 2 runners on, and then so the screen's frozen. Next day, I turn it on, and it's exactly the same. It's Frozen.
If you were watching Padres Giants, that just might have been an act of God looking out for you.
Maybe. So I missed. I missed the Sunday game. I guess I had no idea what happened. So that's an inconvenience, though.
Yeah, no, I've had
I didn't
that go
have to
out.
work the next day, so it's like, okay.
Well, we've basically put all of our lives into the internet one way or the other. It controls everything. So yeah, when you have those moments of outage, it is like, what do I do?
Try not to panic. It's like, and then you play little games like, I'll check it now. I'm sure it's fine. No, I won't
Nope.
check it. I'm going to check it now. Oh,
You're watching the router to see if it stops like blinking feverishly and you get the solid light again.
Right.
I felt like such a man over the weekend because I was able to successfully switch out a GFCI outlet.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So if you need handyman work around your house, call me. Yeah, big guy here.
That electrical stuff. I used to live next door to Gary Lunger, who's an outstanding contractor in the area. And he, sometimes I'd say, Gary, I don't know what to do. And he'd fix stuff, but he'd say two things that he was always careful about: plumbing and electrical. He said, you got to be careful.
The thing with the electrical is they're like, oh, just turn off these switches. I literally turned the whole house off.
Yeah.
I'm not risking
that's
it.
Smart.
I turned the whole house off, dude. I'm like, I don't, because I live in an older house too. So like the old utilities, it's like written in pencil, like half of it's erased. I don't know what's what. I'm like, well, just, if we turn them all off, I can't hurt myself.
Mm-hmm. I made the mistake of with electrical stuff. Have I told you this, by the way? When I fix something around the house, I do the Ricky Henderson speech.
Oh, do you?
Ricky Henderson, I go to my wife, my daughter, and they're so tired of it. Ricky Henderson was the greatest. Lou Brock was a great bass dealer, but today I am the greatest of all time. Why? What'd you do? Oh, I fixed the sink. Whatever. So anyway.
I was talking to my cat, telling him, Daddy's a handyman.
There you go.
Yeah. So yours is actually way cooler. Mine's a lot more. I have issues.
I was fixing a plug on my grandparents' old lamp, and so I was redoing the plug and rewired it wrong, so like it looped back into itself and plugged it in, and my wife came out. What happened? Oh, we're fine. I realized what my mistake was, but I told an electrician. He goes, "It's people like you keep me in business."
Yes, 100%.
Continental.
Almost blew up the house.
Oh man. Well, I had the electrician come out before I switched out the outlet, and he quoted me. I'm like, I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not paying you $400 for a $10 outlet.
As long as you don't blow up the house, you're probably ahead of
No houses blew up.
YouTube's got a pretty good chance of getting me out of this mess.
Yes,
Absolutely.
dude, I went to YouTube. I call it YouTube University all the time. Like you can learn so much stuff. Yeah.
And my mom was a real do-it-yourselfer. They didn't have YouTube then. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, I don't know how
Books, I guess. I don't know.
You DIY people that learned from your grandfather how to build a bench. Shout out to you, because that didn't get passed down to me.
Anyway, hope you had a great weekend, and thanks for being with us here. This, I don't know, maybe this in part is due because of what we we're just talking about. I think there's some 49er resentment, and it seems like a large swath of the national media, I don't know where fans are in this, but a large portion of the national media has chosen to just look at what Brock Purdy did last year and pretend it can never happen.
No.
It's like, yeah.
That's a fluke.
Because we have here from The Ringer quarterback rankings. And I know that
whose quarterback rankings are these, by the way?
Yeah, this is Steven Ruiz.
Steven.
Another real cliche, but I admit I'm a sucker for power rankings. I can't stand. It's like they have the standings, the quarterback rankings. You got me. So I'll just real quickly, 1 through 30, whatever. Mahomes is on there, and then Josh Allen, Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson,
Seems
Trevor
fair
Lawrence,
so far.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, stop me if you hear anything you don't like. Dak Prescott 8, Matthew Stafford 9, Jalen Hurts. Tom Brady at number 11. Says keeping a place for him.
Wait, is this last season?
No, this is current. Yeah,
that's
keeping
fun.
a place for him just in case. Then it goes Kyler Murray 12, Geno, Kirk Cousins, Tua, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, and then number 20, we're at Daniel Jones. From there it goes to Deshaun Watson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Jordan Love, Justin Fields 25, Kenny Pickett 26, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson 28, Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder, CJ Stroud, and Brock Purdy at number 32.
Who's behind Purdy, just out of curiosity?
You've got Sam Howell and Joshua Dobbs, and that's as low as they go.
Yeah, I think Dobbs is settled in there at 34 just fine.
His
also,
QB grade is
Kyler Murray way too high.
I agree.
They have him at
timing,
32.
accuracy, arm talent, creativity, decision-making, pocket presence, and then they mix that in a stew, and then they come out with a quarterback grade, which is admittedly a stupid way to do it. But still, and I try not to get upset about these things at all. Try not to waste any energy on it because they're designed to get you bothered. But
it's one guy's opinion, right?
32nd for Brock Purdy.
That's insane. Did he not realize, because he had Jimmy Garoppolo, 22? Brock Purdy played better than Jimmy Garoppolo last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm serious. Like, go watch game film. The 49ers got better when Brock Purdy got into the starting lineup.
But getting this back to Shanahan, as far as he's concerned, this is all noise, and he doesn't care. And if anything, maybe it works in the 49ers' favor a little bit because it feeds into the narrative that Shanahan's a genius. If people think, their quarterback's terrible, he could barely walk down the street and get groceries and bring it back, and he's winning under Shanahan's system.
Yeah, but also, I've made this point before, right? There have been several quarterbacks in Shanahan's system that have sucked. Nick Mullins, not good. CJ Beathard, not good.
Great. No, not great.
Was Hoyer here before Garoppolo?
Absolutely he was.
Yeah, I want to say, who was Hoyer the starter before Garoppolo got here?
Yes.
In his first season? Okay.
Yes.
They were like 0-9. My point is you actually have to have talent to run Shanahan's system. It's a very complicated system. It's not just a basic offense in the NFL. Like, in order to get that system down, number one, that's a large playbook. Number two, and we spoke about this, I think, last week, in order to properly run that system, you have to be a great decision maker because you have to get that ball out so fast.
That was the thing about Hoyer, supposedly. He took care of the ball, and he got it out quick. And when he was here, nope,
no,
he didn't.
None of that happened at all. So I just find this idea, and again, I think it all just comes down to if Brock Purdy was a third-round quarterback instead of the last pick in the NFL draft, we have a completely different narrative of him. Mm-hmm. It's simply, I think a lot of people, and I think you said it, there's a little bit of resentment there that Shanahan can turn the final pick in the draft into a good starting NFL quarterback. It's like people don't want to believe that. Like, they don't want to give the 49ers their flowers for the pick and developing him.
I think he's probably the guy. I think there's a better chance than not, a much better chance than not, that Purdy is going to be the guy. We'll see, sophomore slump and all that. There's still some questions to be answered. But I think Kyle's right when he says he's the guy.
Yeah, no, I think of the three quarterbacks that were in camp, Lance, Purdy, and Darnold, and you go back and you watch, just the preseason. Now, you can't get everything from preseason football, obviously. But in the 3 series he played, he looked like the guy that you want to run Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Yeah, the offense functioned at a high level. What he's
making quick plays.
Yes.
He's making the smart play. He's either getting rid of the ball if he's pressured or he's breaking for runs. Like, dude, the
offense moves when he's driving it.
It's going to be interesting, like, if he continues to play at the level he did last year. Like, when does everybody succumb to the idea that he's a good quarterback, right? Like, how long does that take? What does that look like? What does he need to actually do?
It's going to be a while. Even if they win a Super Bowl, it'll be, but he's not the reason they won.
Yeah, they had McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk, and the defense was outstanding.
Bias is baked in there real deep. Coming up next year, the Jets continue to show us the line between confident and stupid. Jamar's in for Watkins today. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted, ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner.
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouthwatering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit iDateGreenAcres.com for the store near you. Game on!
Whether you're shopping for your favorite Honda online or in person, you'll see why Stockton Honda is the #1 Honda dealer in Northern California, and why buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Visit in person or online at StocktonHonda.com, where your favorite Honda is ready for you.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Your 3-time defending Big Sky Conference champions, the Sacramento State Hornets, are back at Hornet Stadium this Saturday, September 9th. It's Kids Day with fun for the whole family. And stick around after the game with post-game fireworks. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. Don't miss any of the action this year as the Hornets swarm the Big Sky in search of a 4th straight Big Sky championship. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. That's hornetsports.com. Stingers up.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports Headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. As of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa-Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49er insider Emil Fergosa's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Chris Beiderman of the Candlestick Chronicles will be joining the fellas in about a half hour to talk all things 49ers. But now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Jay Marson for Chris Watkins today. Chris should be in this afternoon. Question for you, Jay Mars, dear listener. Are you as sick of the Jets as I am?
Yes. It's the Aaron Rodgers effect, right?
Yeah, and it's Hard Knocks, and I get it. There's the spotlight's been shown on them, and that's not their fault.
But I don't feel like we had this like disdain towards the Lions when they were on Hard Knocks last season, right? Like they were actually almost like a darling because of it. It really it spotlighted them, and then they had the 9-8 year, and I feel like it worked out well. And it's like just the complete opposite with the Jets.
I think the Jets are playing this wrong. I know to a degree of course you want to be confident, but the way they're leaning into the expectations, to me, well, here's a great example of what I'm talking about. DJ Reed now is talking about the Jets defense. He's a corner, and that's great. I'm very confident. Great. I think we have the potential to be the best defense in the NFL. Okay, be careful about that, but all right. Honestly, I think we can be historical.
Oh.
Not just the best defense in the league, but I think we can be a historical defense like the 85-86 Bears and the Legion of Boom Seahawks in 2013. I think we can be that dominant if we just put all things together.
Yeah.
So I get it. The defensive coordinator says, well, you want to be confident, but that's just dumb. You're just putting a target on.
Yeah, why I don't understand. Like you had me at we have potential to be a really good defense, right? Especially when you use the word potential, that's a great way to save yourself from any sort of like real scrutiny. It's like, yeah, we have potential, if all things go right. But yeah, when you start comparing yourselves to historical defenses that are mainly responsible for their teams winning Super Bowls, that's where you're going to be a meme if your team is 4-8 after week 12.
And I said it was a coordinator. It was actually defensive end John Franklin Myers. He said, hey, why not speak your goals? But the Jets open against the Bills.
We're good, by the way.
Yes. Number 2 scoring offense in last year, and that's the Monday Night Football season opener. And you're just asking for trouble. If I can tell you a story about way back when, the first Super Bowl I ever kind of covered, and this is way back when I was 11 or whatever, and it was the 49ers Dolphins Super Bowl.
Covered the Super Bowl when you were 11?
Seems like I was. I don't know.
You were a prodigy.
I might as well have been. And you remember Clayton and Duper? Well, maybe you might not remember this, but they were talking about
a morning show in North Dakota.
I'm Duper.
Clayton Duper. Sports talk.
Yeah.
The way you want
it. We put the fan first.
Yeah.
They were saying how they were going to destroy the 49ers. So Ronnie Lott's sitting there, you have these huge scrums, and I say, hey, Ronnie Lott, hey. He goes, what are you, like 11? What are you doing here? I said, no, don't worry about it. And I said, Clayton and Duper said they're going to toast you guys. What do you think? They're going to destroy you guys. What do you think? I'll never forget just the way he looked at me, and he goes, they could be right. This is Ronnie Lott. He's like, they got, you look at the numbers they put up this year, and man, they're really talented, and we got our hands full. Then they played the game, and the 49ers destroyed them. But Ronnie Lott recognized, I don't need to say that.
Right.
We're going to do it.
Now, when he answered that, could you sense any sort of sarcasm in his voice at all? Or was he like, did he try to play it off like, oh, no, they could really do that?
He played it off pretty well. Yeah.
Pretty well. I see what you did there.
So, and I never forgot that. And of course, Ronnie Lott knew what he was capable of doing, what that defense was going to do.
So can I ask you a question? Let's take 11-year-old Whitey.
Yeah.
Let's
I was really older than that, but yeah.
Let's get the DeLorean. Let's bring him to 2023 and ask Josh Allen the same question. Hey, the Jets said they're going to be a historically good defense. They're going to be as good as the 85 Bears and the Legion to Boom. What do you think about that, Josh?
I mean, they were a great defense last year. We got our we got our work cut out for us, then you get into practice like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do to them.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story about, speaking of confident defenses, right before the Super Bowl when the 49ers played the Chargers, and you know what happened in that game?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, and the 49ers were pretty loose, and Deion was on that team, and Deion was having a great time. And Jerry Rice, old school Jerry Rice, they have a team meeting like the night before the game, whatever. And Jerry Rice is, guys, this is not the way we do it. We're not taking care of business. We're not focused. And Deion says, dude, we got this. What are you worried about? And Deion was right.
Yeah, Prime was a little more loose than Jerry also, just as a player in general.
Yes.
Yeah. But
like, Jerry, what are you worried about?
But don't you respect that with Jerry Rice? Like, there is that fear of the back. Guys,
that's it.
They got to the Super Bowl. Like, if we don't take them seriously, they can do to us like they did in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I think that comes down to what motivates people. Some people are motivated by fear. I think Jerry Rice, and I'm the same way, largely.
Yeah.
Some people are motivated by fear. Like, what happens if I don't do this? Oh, I better do it.
It's almost like for them, too. It was like fear of embarrassment, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine this Niners team, everything we've done this year? We lose to the freaking Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Right.
What touchdown catch do you think Jerry had that he finally loosened up? Like, when in the game did Jerry oh, Deion was right.
Yeah, I don't know.
After 3 or 4.
He was like, because that's how they won those Super Bowls when they weren't supposed to win Super Bowls.
Right.
So Jerry was probably like, okay, well, the game's not over yet, so hold on.
Guys, we only got 35 points. Like we gotta put the nail in the coffin already.
Yeah, so it's great to be confident.
You know who I remember doing?
DJ Reed is not Deion Sanders last time.
He's not. Do you remember who I remember doing this? And it kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. I don't know if enough people picked him up, but I remember his rookie year in Sacramento. There was a guy that they asked, who do you think's going to win the MVP this year? And he said, me. He bet on himself to win the MVP in his rookie year. And it wasn't in a like ha-ha sense either. Like, I'm like, oh, I think he really believes that. It was Marvin Bagley.
Okay.
It didn't work. No. He didn't win the MVP, Whitey. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
he did. I was, like going through the grids there on Immaculate Grid. Rookie of the year. He's not, his name.
No, MVP, not Rookie of the Year. Oh. MVP of the league.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, I remember when it happened, everyone was like, oh, well, you want a guy to be confident, right? It's like, not that confident.
No, you got to be realistic.
Also, don't think he's tracking towards one anytime soon. That's just my opinion, though.
On the other hand, I agree with you. By the way, I have a Marvin Bagley basketball card, and on the back, it's Vince Carter.
What?
Yeah.
That's got to be worth something as a mistake.
I don't know if it is or not.
Oh.
On the front, it's Marvin Bagley. On the back, it's Vince Carter.
What's worth more, the Bagley side or the Carter side?
I don't know. But I will say this about the Jets. I can't wait to watch them. It is going to be, and they've set this up, this drama. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. Are we rooting for them to be good because, okay, it's better for football if they're good. It makes the Jets being intriguing is like a better storyline than LOL, this team failed with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback and they're on Hard Knocks talking all of this. Like, I feel like we're rooting for them to fail just so we can point the finger.
Yeah, that's the old Aaron Rodgers. I've warmed up a little bit to Aaron Rodgers this year.
Well, this is Mr. Rodgers, right?
Exactly. I don't have that same animosity towards him or whatever it is. So
dude, until they start 0-4 and he just throws his receivers under the bus.
That's a great point you raised. I think I would like them to win enough games early so that it's still the drama continues. There's still something to see halfway through the season.
Yeah, I want to see the Jets in the playoffs and fail there.
Yeah.
I think that's what's best for football.
To me, that's very likely.
Yeah, no, I think they have a chance to make the playoffs.
Because it's like, we could make the playoffs. No, you don't say, we're going to be historic. We're going to win the Super Bowl with an historic defense. I don't think you are. Why do you put that kind of
I get
expectation out there?
The defense was good last year. It was good.
Yes.
But going from good to 85 Bears and Legion of Boom, that's quite the leap.
The Jets defense returning 8 starters, and they were ranked number 4 in scoring and number 4 in yards allowed. So, yeah, they could be the best defense in the league. They could be. But that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't go from there to, we're going to be the Legion of Boom.
I was going to say, even if they are the best defense in the league, that doesn't make you the 85 Bears or the Legion of Boom. The 49ers were the best defense in the NFL last year. Nobody was comparing them to any of those like historically good defenses.
And another reason why I wouldn't do that ever is because the way the game's played now, we're never going to see defenses like that.
No.
You can't play defense like that. It's against the rules.
No, exactly.
Tackling 15 yards.
He touched him in the air. It's half the distance to the goal. Get him 2 first downs, actually.
Yeah. So good luck, Jets. By the way, can you, not to put you on the spot here,
sure,
can you tell us what is going on here with Chandler Jones and the Raiders? Do we even know where that is right now?
So I don't know where it's at right now. So Chandler Jones took to his Instagram earlier today and had some not nice things to say about the Raiders. Apparently, they're not letting him practice in the facility. And this upset him to the point that he put it on his IG story and then followed up with, F it, I don't want to play for this organization if that's my head coach and that's my GM. He has since deleted said IG story, so I don't know if they opened the gym for him to go play. But yeah, not a good look, especially when there's already been a lot of rumors that like Josh McDaniels is very much a my way or the highway type of guy, which I don't really feel like that coaching works very well in 2023. Just, again, it's like the Raiders saw the 49ers drama. They're like, hey, we want drama too. And now you have this.
Okay, yeah, I heard Dave explaining it today, but when he was done explaining it, I was more confused than I had been before I even knew about it. So I appreciate your explanation.
Yeah, I don't put that ball on the tee for me. I have a tendency to swing the bat.
Chris Beiderman, Candlestick Chronicles, is going to join us at 11 o'clock. Coming up next, the Giants have been declared unwatchable, but we have a solution next. Whitey and Watkins with Jamar's in for Watkins today on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I could not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Come in now for a free arch support fitting and test walk.
Labor Day, our annual celebration of workers and their achievements, was first observed in New York, and the first Monday in September became a national holiday in 1894. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Each year we commemorate Labor Day with parades, picnics, and family gatherings. And right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings is celebrating with their exceptional whole store Labor Day sale. Would you like to refresh your living room? Would you like to restyle your bedroom? Maybe you want to redesign your home office. No matter whether it's your dining room, kids' rooms, accents, or accessories, Naturewood's unique store-wide Labor Day sale offers savings in every department and savings on every brand like Stanton, Omnia, England, Stickley, Flex Steel, and all the rest of the award-winning furniture. When it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable Labor Day sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Get ready for a night with Cole Swindell. The 2023 ACM Song of the Year winner hits Heart Health Park at Cal Expo in Sacramento, Saturday, September 9th for the CITP2 Fest. And Cole's bringing some friends like Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, Matt Stell, and more. Tickets start at $40 at CITPFest.com.
There's fun for the whole family at Sutter Health Park. Join the River Cats every Saturday with the purchase of the Family Fun Pack. Starting at only $89, the Family Fun Pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and 4 exclusive River Cats hats. Take your fan experience to the next level with the Governor's Club Family Pack and enjoy the post-game fireworks show from the field. Make your plans to join the fun at rivercats.com/family pack.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
Hey, where's Watkins? What have you done with Watkins? Who are you, and what have you done with Watkins?
I've tied him in a wet blanket. To some, that would be miserable. To him, it's very comfortable. That's why he hasn't got out of it yet.
He'll be along today, this afternoon. So we've got J-Mars in for Watkins today. We are just, picking through the wreckage of the big fat sports weekend.
Yeah, a lot of wreckage.
Especially if you're a Giants fan. There was some wreckage.
So much wreckage.
A little bit of wreckage there.
All the wreckage.
So much wreckage after losing 3 straight to the punchless Padres and then losing yesterday to the Cubs. That today in The Athletic, Grant Brisbee, who loves everything about the Giants, everything that has ever had anything to do about the Giants, he loves it. But he said today, he wrote that the Giants right now are unwatchable because they literally are unable to score runs.
They've put up 1 run in the last 3 games. And this was a team, by the way, it was like 2 months ago, they had a really good offense. Or at least it seemed like they had a really good offense, right?
Month of June, right? Month of June, like, whoa!
And then, like, the All-Star break happened, and they came back, and it was like, they're still hungover or something because this offense has been punchless since the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their pitching has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because, of course, as you know, if you're a Giants fan, last week they had a couple of magical nights where they had Kyle Harrison's home debut, and he was great. And then the next night, Alex Cobb nearly pitched a no-hitter. And then since then, it's been,
yeah,
what happened?
They lose to the Reds 4-1, but then they bounce back and they beat the Padres 7-2 in the opener. And it's like, okay, they've taken 3 of 4. This team, you can't expect them to sweep every series. And then after that nice 7-run outage, 3 runs, 1 run, no runs, no runs. What happened?
And you just get that feeling watching him like yesterday. It's like, they're not going to score a run.
No.
Suzuki hit a home run. And Logan Webb was pitching really well. That's the other thing. Gabe Kapler all of a sudden, hey, you're leaving him in too long. You never do that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But once the Cubs scored 1, it felt like, that might be enough.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any sign of turning around. You have the Cubs today. You have the Cubs tomorrow. And then you have the Rockies, but it's in San Francisco. I was going to say maybe Coors Field, if you were going to Colorado, might get the bats awake, but no, not going to happen. I don't know. I think the Giants are out of it. And I think the interesting thing here is when you talk about the unwatchable part of it, yes, it's the offense, but also you don't see day to day. It's always like it's something different, with the different lineups they roll out, with the platooning that they do, but it's also the same result, which is fine if the result is wins, right? But when you're rolling out different lineups on a fairly regular basis and you're platooning guys and it doesn't work, it makes it really hard to latch on to players to root for because you don't know if they're going to be in the lineup or where they're going to be at in the lineup on any given day. Like the Dodgers tried this forever, being super analytical, and we're going to have this deep bench and we're going to platoon guys, and it was like fine just because they were really talented. But then every time they got to the playoffs, you realize, oh, that strategy can't work. There's something to having guys play, their same position, their same spot in the order on a regular basis that to me increases the watchability of a team, knowing what I've got.
I think what they're trying to do is develop now enough younger players where fans start to feel kind of an ownership. Like, oh, we saw these guys grow up, and they have done a good job of bringing up some young players. But if the young players aren't very good, doesn't go anywhere. As I was trying to explain to you before the show started, to me right now, the Giants, they're so analytically driven. Farhan reminds me of an engineer who's built this rocket that's supposed to get to the moon against all odds. And then they get, 3/4 of the way there, which is where the Giants are now. And then he realizes, oh, well, I hadn't taken that into account. Yeah, we don't have enough fuel.
Yeah.
We can't get there.
And it's like he probably had an assistant engineer tell him like, hey, you might want to add fuel here and there. I've done this a little bit. I've taken a few rockets to the moon. Like this is the correct idea, but it has a chance to go wrong because you're not accounting for all the other stuff around you, which goes back to, it's like analytics are great, but it's both. It's analytics, but you also have to let your manager have a feel for the game, right? And you have to have a feel for the game, which is like, and you kind of saw that with the Harrison and the Alex Cobb. That was Gabe Kapler feeling the game, right? It wasn't super analytically driven. And if you just go all analytics, and I hate to keep referencing the Dodgers here, go back to the 2020 World Series. The Tampa Bay Rays lost that World Series because everything was based on analytics. They had no feel for what was going on, and the Dodgers took advantage of it. You have to have someone in there that has a feel for the game that can say, you know what, I know the numbers say this, but just trust me on it this one time.
And it still comes down to talent.
Yes, talent does win, believe it or not.
The Giants right now they're a game out of the third wild card. So it's Philadelphia, Chicago, Arizona would be the wild card teams, and Cincinnati. They're technically tied there, and then Miami, and then the Giants. They're 2 over 500. Their run differential now is they're -10. So there's time, and certainly they're right there in the thick of it. But as far as the unwatchability goes, and people have been feeling that way about this team for quite a while here in San Francisco, the most obvious solution to that going into next year is Ohtani-san. I mean, if you're unwatchable, you get him. I mean, I'd pay to watch him read the phone book,
Shohei Ohtani would make the Oakland A's the most watchable team in baseball next year, right? That's how much he means to your product. And I think that gets lost sometimes on fans is when you sign a player like Ohtani and they throw this money out there, right? And you're like, oh my God, how could you pay for one player? Is what he does on the field is it worth it? And it's like, you don't factor in the off-field stuff like viewers and ticket sales and all this stuff that comes in. That's why a guy like Ohtani can command that kind of money. And it's going to be interesting. Do you think him having the injury, because I do think that'll take the money down a little bit, right? In the bidding. Does that give the Giants a better chance?
Maybe, but I do think there's a good chance that somebody will see that as an opportunity. It's like, hey, Shohei, nobody wants to give you what they were going to give you. We will. We'll give you that if that's what it takes for us to get you. His agent, by the way, as you may have heard, Nez Balelo of CAA made two things clear yesterday. He said Ohtani will be ready to at least hit at the start of next year, to at least hit. And he said he will remain a two-way player down the road.
There you go.
So he's going to pitch. Not next year, probably. And they're still figuring out what they're going to do here and the extent of his injury. But his agent says he's going to hit start of next year, and he will be a two-way player going forward.
Where do you put the Giants in a percentage standpoint of chance to sign him?
5%.
Really?
I think it's the Dodgers game now if they want him. Because I think that's where he wants to go. There's a lot of indications that that's where he wants to go.
Okay, so are you 95 Dodgers, 5 Giants? Or do you have another? Do you have another dark horse
There's a
in there?
couple other teams in there. I think San Diego may do something really stupid, but I don't think he'll want to go there.
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons.
The Angels are done, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you were just look at it just logically, if you're Shohei Ohtani, you want to go back there
after what happened the last month and a half.
Seattle,
by the way,
maybe has a shot. The Yankees will make
Do
a
the
run.
A's have a chance?
Let's hope so. Bless them,
Yeah,
I think Fisher,
A's totally
Fisher
have a chance.
Once Fisher decides to open up the pocketbook,
Well, that's right.
Look out.
Yes. And we're going to see.
He knows how much things cost.
And when we see Shohei show up in those Old Navy commercials, we'll know where the money came from, won't we?
90% Dodgers, 5% Giants, 3% San Diego,
2% A's.
Yeah, there you go.
Because Shohei always gets 110%.
That's right.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, they're talking about getting Bellinger, the Giants. There's rumors. That's great, but
He had a nice bounce back year this year.
I know, really nice. But does
Actually
he
be a
does
good
he
signing.
Take you from unwatchable to watchable?
No, but if you sign him and Shohei, then you're super watchable,
the
right?
Shohei thing is the important part there, yes. What's important for the 49ers is getting this Nick Bosa thing figured out. Chris Beiderman, Candlestick Chronicles, will explain to us where that is when he joins us next. It's Whitey and Watkins, and we've got J Mars in for Watkins today on Sactown Sports.
The first ever NBA in-season tournament schedule is out, and our Kings have some great matchups, including national TV games against the Spurs and Warriors.
And Sacramento has won. They have risen to the occasion. And let me tell you, if you can't sense it, this place is absolutely nuts.
Listen to every game on the home of the Kings, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Have you ever heard that phrase, less is more? Well, at Harbor Freight, we're all about more for less, because we know you like to do stuff, to make stuff, to improve stuff. That's why everything in our stores, from miter saws to tool chests to cordless impact wrenches, is priced affordably. So get out there and drill, paint, and saw to your heart's content. We just ask that whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, Whitey here with some good news. If you own a business with more than 5 employees, you could have money waiting to be claimed. Innovation Refunds has been helping small businesses that qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the Employee Retention Credit, or also known as the ERC. See, it's a tax refund for businesses that kept employees on payrolls for parts of 2020 and 2021. The ERC tax filing is complex. Innovation Refunds is dedicated to helping business owners navigate the process. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. They work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply.
Go to innovationrefunds.com to determine eligibility. If you qualify, you could be on your way to receiving money for your business. There's no upfront charge. They don't get paid unless you get paid. Go to innovationrefunds.com or dial 1-843-REFUNDS. That's innovationrefunds.com or 1-843-REFUNDS.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Seth Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Seth Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Whether you're shopping for your favorite Honda online or in person, you'll see why Stockton Honda is the #1 Honda dealer in Northern California and why buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Visit in person or online at StocktonHonda.com, where your favorite Honda is ready for you.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street. Right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Beiderman with your Sactown Sports headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And as of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa-Niner negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49er insider Emil Fergosa's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Those are your headlines, and now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins with our guest, Chris Beiderman of Candlestick Chronicles.
Yeah, we're brought to you by We're brought to you by Flying U Rodeo. That's Flying U Rodeo, providing quality family entertainment for more than 60 years. Whitey and Watkins with J Mars in for Watkins today, and coming to you via the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, as Chris Beiderman mentioned. Candlestick Chronicles, a pleasure to welcome back Chris Beiderman. Chris, thanks so much for your time. We got a game here coming up in days. We got no Nick Bosa. What is the holdup with the Nick Bosa situation here for the 49ers?
Man, I haven't heard anything because, you know, as I'm sure you guys have heard from other reports too, like both sides are being extremely quiet on this whole thing. But one thing I think an important piece of context to remember, going back to 2020 when George Kittle was getting his 5-year, $75 million extension, a real key component of that were the roster triggers that actually came a year early, which was kind of unprecedented for the 49ers. The way the 49ers have typically structured their big contracts have been to guarantee something close to the first 2 years of those deals with early April roster bonuses that sort of allow the team to decide if they want to keep that player for the following season. What Kittle did in his negotiation, and a reason why it got a little bit contentious back then, was because Kittle's camp wanted those triggers to come a year early. So he would essentially, by April of, say, 2021, if that trigger, the 49ers obviously pulled that trigger, it would ensure that he's on the roster in 2022, and his 2022 money would be guaranteed a year early. I think that it wouldn't surprise me at all if something like that was afoot here with the Nick Bosa thing, because look, Nick Bosa obviously has an injury history going back to college and even in high school, and it would make plenty of sense for him to want as much security as possible given that. And if you're the 49ers, you look at all the high paid guys you have on your roster. Basically, when you guarantee money, it takes away your flexibility a little bit to restructure contracts and create cap space and pay more guys, which is one thing the 49ers have had going for them, right? They've been able to restructure a lot of their contracts to create cap space for guys like Charvarius Ward or Javon Hargrave, and all the other big contracts that they have. So at some point, like creating cap space is sort of like having a credit card, right? You're going to have to make that payment eventually. It might not be coming out of your bank account right now, but you pay for that flexibility down the road. And the 49ers really want to have that flexibility because they might be paying Brock Purdy, $40-50 million a year a few years down the line, right? So they're trying to factor all that into this Nick Bosa contract extension. I would bet, and I haven't heard this is just me speculating, but it would be something to do with when those guarantees hit, and if they are a year or two out, and how much those guarantees are, which ultimately costs the 49ers flexibility, which frankly makes it more difficult to pay a bunch of guys, which they've been able to do the last few years.
We're talking with Chris Beiderman from the Candlestick Chronicles. So Chris, Ian Rappaport said yesterday there needs to be, this is not an exact quote, significant movement from both sides in order to get this deal done with Bosa. In your opinion, the way you're evaluating this, do you think we will see Nick Bosa on the field Sunday against Pittsburgh?
I honestly have no idea. I think, deadline spur action, right? And so obviously the 49ers, you remember last year when Nick Bosa missed the game against the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons ran for 168 yards in a 14-point 49ers loss. Nick Bosa is obviously an incredibly important player as a pass rusher, but I think what goes underrated about his game is how good he is at setting the edge and being a run game player. And when you can run on the 49ers or on anybody in the NFL, you're going to be successful, because you're like, the baseline for playing defense in the NFL starts with the run. We can talk about it being a passing league, but if you can't stop the run, you're not going to stop anybody, because that sets up play action and all of those things. So Nick Bosa's value to the team, I think, was encapsulated in that game because of how different the defense looked, because the Falcons were able to just run on the edges the entire game. And the 49ers lost by 14 points to a team that went 7-10. You're looking at Cleveland Ferrell and Drake Jackson. Cleveland Ferrell's, I guess, a replacement level type player. We don't know what Drake Jackson is yet after his somewhat disappointing rookie season. But so there is a ton of I think Nick Bosa has a lot of leverage, and it's going to be up to the 49ers to cave. And, I think what's interesting about it is they've talked so much about being all in on this season and this core group of players that you might have to sacrifice some of your future flexibility. And that might mean having to trade some guys for draft picks instead of giving them, second, third contracts going forward. And that's a concession I think the 49ers are going to have to make. Does that mean they'll make it, it's Tuesday? Will they make it today or tomorrow so Nick Bosa can get on the practice field? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I wouldn't put it past Nick Bosa or his camp to just say, no, we're holding the line. We're not making any concessions until you come to us with what we want, and we're willing to miss games because of it. So, your guess is as good as mine. I wish I had a better answer for you, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play week one, put it that way.
Chris Beiderman, nice enough to join us from Candlestick Chronicles as he's going to throughout the season. I know the 49ers are talking about the importance of getting off to a good start this year. We also know that the last couple of years they didn't get off to a good start. Ultimately, it didn't matter that much. So, in your estimation, how important is it for them this season to get off to a better start than they've gotten off to the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, they went 3-4 last year. I think they started 4-6 in 2021. Yeah, or 3-5 in 2021, and that was just, you remember that season having to go to Dallas, to Green Bay, to the Rams, like that. All that stuff matters, right? It's a lot more difficult to win in the playoffs when you have to go on the road all those times. And we saw in 2019, obviously, when they were the number 1 seed, they had a relatively easy path beating the Vikings and Packers at home to get to the Super Bowl. So obviously the stakes are higher with only one team getting the bye. And after a 17-week schedule, it's really important for these teams to try to get a bye in the first round of the playoffs, because it is an advantage because now only one team gets it. So yeah, getting off to a better start has to be super important for them, because those early losses have cost them seeding, which has made their, if the NFC Championship game, for example, was in San Francisco, does it look different than what it was for in Philadelphia, obviously, and going back to the NFC Championship game in LA against the Rams, obviously it would have been more important or it would have been helpful to have that at Levi's Stadium for the 49ers. So yeah, I think when it comes to getting off to a better start, it's all about seeding for them. And if they could get that first round bye, it's such a huge advantage on top of home field. So that's really what I look to. Is Kyle Shanahan's teams have typically played at their best football in November and December. But now I think it would be a pretty marked change for them to start doing that in September and October. And I think they could, and I think they understand the urgency with that. But to your point, it's a good one. They really have to get off to a better start this season.
Chris, another storyline going into week 1 is obviously the kicking situation with Jake Moody still dealing with a right quad injury. I know he was kicking at practice yesterday. Is it in the best interest, though, maybe for the 49ers to go with Matthew Wright in week 1 as a guy who's kicked in Pittsburgh before? It's a notoriously difficult place to kick. Or do you see Moody being able and available to kick on Sunday?
And I think it's unfair, Chris, but they're already calling him Matthew Wide Right. And I think that's totally unfair when he hasn't even kicked yet.
I think that's just kind of an easy nickname to make when that's your name and you're a kicker. Yeah, I mean, you draft a kicker in the 3rd round. I think the pressure's kind of on to just play him. Like, you don't want to. I just think it might set a bad precedent if you're treating your kicker with kid gloves. If you invested so much in him for a kicker, like, I think it's important to just say, no, this is our guy, and we're rolling with him, and we don't care what the circumstances are. We don't care if he's a little bit banged up. Like, this is our kicker. We need to exude confidence in him, because us exuding confidence in him hopefully allows him to be more confident in himself and kick more confidently, so he's not missing field goals and extra points like he did in the preseason. I can't speak to how injured he is or what the training staff knows or believes about his quad injury. So that's a little bit tough for me to say, but I'm very much of the mind, like, dude, tough it out, right? Like, you're a highly paid kicker. You're a 3rd round pick. This team replaced a veteran in Robbie Gould who never missed a playoff kick. And so, like, just go out there and kick. You're not going to be handled with kid gloves here. Like, you're like, tough it out, deal with your quad injury, and go kick and make field goals in Pittsburgh.
All right, Chris, we'll talk to you again next week. We look forward to that. If you're a Niner fan, if you're not already, make sure you check out Candlestick Chronicles with Chris Beiderman. Thank you, Chris. Enjoy the week. We'll talk to you again soon.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for having me, as always.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, tough it out.
Rub some dirt on it.
Tough it out.
Some Robitussin on that thing.
What's that saying, though? What is that from? Wishing don't make it so, or hoping don't make it so. But it sounds like, to a degree, that's kind of got to be the 49ers philosophy with Jake Moody.
Yeah, no,
right?
it is.
No, he's our kicker. He's missing kick. Yeah, but he's good. He's our kicker.
Never mind the Zane Gonzalez over there in the corner.
Yeah.
Never mind that.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine.
He's our kicker.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, but he can't make a kick. Well, in practice, we're good.
Number 99 pick,
we're
guys.
Good.
Number 99 pick.
It's like, did you ever see that movie, The Skeleton Key, with Kate Hudson? The voodoo isn't real unless you believe the voodoo is real. Then it's real. So as long as you believe he's fine, he's fine.
Yeah.
As soon as you start to think, then
the
voodoo is real.
Just ask Kate Hudson.
Yes. Yes.
I believe that's the first time Skeleton Key has been brought up on the station.
Very good. Station's been around a long time, Whitey.
I don't know. It's usually me bringing up random movies.
How good? We just got a little time here left, and then we're going to talk 49ers on the other side of a quick break. But how good do you think the Steelers are? Because I'm starting to think,
Good.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, they played their starters a lot in the preseason, and they dominated everybody. Well, of course they did.
But they also, what did they finish last year? Like 7-2. And it was like once they replaced Mitchell Trubisky and got that like out of there, this is a top of the line defense. And Pittsburgh.
That's a good nickname for Trubisky, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Mitchell Trubisky, better known as once they got out there, and I think even Mason Rudolph got some reps last year, and Pickett obviously got reps. It was a much better football team. Like, are they going to win the Super Bowl this year? Probably not. Are they going to be a really tough opponent that's going to go over 500? Of course they are. Mike Tomlin's their head coach. He's never been under 500.
Yeah.
Last year would have been the year to get under 500, and he was like, no.
He's coaching for a new contract, too.
Tell me if I'm wrong. He should be the highest paid coach of the NFL, in my opinion. I think overall he is the best head coach in the NFL.
Better than Belichick? More than Belichick?
Yes. What has Belichick done post-Brady? What did Belichick do pre-Brady?
Well, he was a really good defensive coach.
Sure. So was Mike Nolan.
I mean, you have to give him some of the credit for some of the things that
Mike
happened when Brady was there, don't we?
Yeah, you give him some credit, but I think we give majority of it to Tom at this point.
Stayed in his hotel room all those years. Yeah. Tell me how the game goes. I don't have to worry about what's
I'm not saying Belichick's not a great coach. I'm just saying if you had to pick today to coach your football team, you're taking Belichick over Tomlin?
Well, I'm a Tomlin guy, so I try. It's hard
Doesn't
for me to
sound
separate.
like it right now.
No, I am. I'm just trying to separate. You know, I'm root for the guy, and some of the stuff he does off the field is like, oh my goodness, what a great man. But I'm trying to separate that here from
the man went
whether he
9-8
deserves the most
with Mitchell Trubisky on his roster. Like, come on.
He also tackled a guy running down the sideline during a game.
Exactly.
During a game.
When has Bill Belichick done that? Also, I know we got to go to break, but I've really enjoyed Belichick kind of a little bit looser in the media this year. Like, he has that, like, I'm getting ready to be done with this, I don't care anymore type mentality. Something to watch, Whitey Gleason.
I really suspect the guy in Tennessee might be the best coach in the NFL.
Vrabel?
Maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
Yeah.
Over Tomlin, though.
Maybe.
Well, if you ask Kyle Shanahan, it's Kyle Shanahan. But
I know. You mean besides me, right?
Yeah.
Coming up next, Peter King's unspeakable prediction for how this 49er season is going to end. It's unspeakable, but we have to speak about it. We'll do that when we come right back here. Whitey and Watkins. J-Bar's in for Watkins today. Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, the search for pain relief can feel like an endless and hopeless ordeal.
I would try drugstore, insoles and supports.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked.
If you think you've tried everything to relieve your foot pain, you probably haven't tried arch supports from the Good Feet store.
And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I don't have foot pain anymore. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. It changed my life.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Come in now for a free arch support fitting and test walk.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins
on Sactown Sports.
Chris Watkins will be along this afternoon. Whitey Gleason and Jay Mars today. His NBA Jam shirt. Buddy Hield. De'Aaron Fox.
I got a bone to pick with you at some point, by the way.
Let's do it.
Right
What?
now?
Go ahead.
So you
Bring it.
You made this song about you and Javale McGee that you posted on your Twitter X account.
Yes.
It's good. It's well produced. It's mastered. And I'm like, why aren't we playing this on air?
No, we're not playing on that.
Why?
You play one of these little silly songs on a show, and it brings the show just stops, man.
It's only
and I
a
know
minute
because I've done it. It's like you cruise along. Hey, how about this? And it's like, oof.
Okay.
Oh, now we got to start the show again. Sorry about that.
Whitey
Go to
Whitey Gleason.
Go to X and check it out if you want to check it. I
Whitey
appreciate
Gleason.
your kind words.
As the assistant program director of Sactown Sports, I'm going to request that our producer cue it up for the end of a break leading in.
I don't know.
That way it doesn't stop down the show. It's a nice seamless transition into commercial.
The station didn't even retweet it. It's got like 3 likes or something. So that's another thing.
Yeah, but we don't even know who runs the station's account.
And that's fine.
Had
I'm not
I been
complaining.
running it?
I'm saying this is why the record company released it on a holiday Monday. Like they said, well, and then you see how it does. Like, yeah, well, you were right to release it on a holiday Monday.
I just reposted it. So now it'll get millions upon views.
But that's, I appreciate that.
I was impressed.
And it's based on it's like a parody of let's face it, it's a really older song. And a lot of people are going to be, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Is this a normal thing that happens when your internet goes down? You just start making parody songs?
Yeah, that was one thing, but then it's hard to do when you have no internet. It's like, I can't even, how do I start to tune things? But anyway, thank you for the kind words.
Of course.
It's a lot of fun.
Can I tell you that I hate how much I like it?
See? Right?
Because I open it, I'm just like, okay, it's gonna be dumb, and I'm like, I like this song.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's it. A lot of them
I
are
feel
just
like you're just trying to rob the listeners of musical glory, but that's fine.
No.
You hate the listeners. It's good.
The radio, we talk about sports. That's what people are here for. If you want to hear that, go to
It's about sports.
Go to Twitter or X, and then you can hear it there. Or maybe there's lots of copyright laws now too and stuff. So I get all that. So anyway, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, end of the show, Chris.
CK916.
Don't be insubordinate, Whitey, of me right now, okay?
Yeah. Boy. Took a lot longer than it should have taken, I'll tell you that. This is awful. I'm sorry to bring it to your attention, but you should know about I'd rather you hear about it here than on the street somewhere. Peter King. Peter King actually historically does pretty well with his predictions.
The great Peter King, even.
Mm-hmm. Loves football. He loves him as football. Today in a football morning in America, he makes his predictions. Normally these things are so dumb. It's like, it's September and we're talking about what's going to happen in February.
Right.
But his are pretty good. He says the 49ers are going to go 13-4 this year. That'd be the 10th time in franchise history they secured a top seed. He says the Niners are still a very good football team. Says they have to sign Nick Bosa. But he says the season is going to end with them losing to the number 5 seeded Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round.
Ew.
Sorry. That's what he says.
Gross.
He's obviously not always right. So he's got the 49ers with a bye during Super Wildcard Weekend.
Oh, my.
And then losing to the Cowboys.
Ew. I
don't know why. I don't know why he's doing that.
At this point, is losing to Dallas worse than losing to Seattle? At this point, I know 8-10 years ago, that was unthinkable, but
it's close, but probably.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a great question.
Really nasty, especially if Trey Lance is on the sidelines just snickering at Kyle like this after the win.
That's a great point, though, because as you know, that's obviously you're alluding to the fact that when you had Harbaugh and Pete Carroll, that was a lot of rivalry as we've seen in Northern California.
Yeah, no,
it was up there with Lakers, Kings in a lot of ways, and Giants, Dodgers, and all that.
I had some friends who would go watch the Niners play up in Seattle, and they said, basically they felt very good that they left that place with their life intact.
Really?
It was that chaotic between Niner and Seahawk fan. It was really bad.
And then it died down, but the Cowboys, 49ers was always kind of bubbling under the surface, and then it rises back up.
Right. And then they've played each other twice in the playoffs. Niners obviously gotten the wins the last 2 seasons in the playoffs. Who can forget the great offensive lineman, Zeke Elliott, sitting up for the Dallas Cowboys at the end of that game. But those were both really good games. I mean, Dallas is... It pains me to say it, obviously, as a 49ers fan. I think the Niners are a better team, but Dallas is a really good roster. The only thing I see with Dallas is it's always drama there. And I think Mike McCarthy calling plays this season is totally intentional to get him out of there. I just wonder if they start slow, will he be there halfway through the season?
It's a good question.
And will just the drama in Dallas overtake everything?
Yeah. Last year, and I remember the game. I'd forgotten that it was 23-17. That was very close.
Yeah, no, it was
in my mind, and the other game was close too, the year before
Mhm.
in Dallas. But in my mind, it's like, oh yeah, the 49ers beat the Cowboys easily.
No, that
Like,
was
really? You remember that crazy
No,
last play 2 years ago?
and that's funny because the team they beat prior to that in the wild card round was the Seahawks, and they manhandled Seattle. So it's like you had these two rivalries go, and then you went up against Dallas last year, and it took a lot for the 49ers, especially in the second half, to come away with that victory. Like I felt, especially going into halftime, like, ooh, Dallas might have them this year, and that's just, like I said, it's just a gross feeling to lose to Dallas.
I think Jerry Jones has done a great job. He's learned how to put a team together and draft better. Really, I think he's done a much improved job of drafting.
Yeah.
When you look at that one draft, the Trey Lance draft, the Cowboys ended up with the number 3 pick, Trey Lance, and the number 12 pick, Michael Parsons.
Who's pretty good, I hear.
Yeah. But there's still something fundamentally flawed about the way it's all put together. And to me, it's what you just talked about. The fact that you got Jerry Jones, but the coaches are just there to do what Jerry tells them to do.
Right. That's why Jason Garrett lasted so long there, right? Everyone would be like, how the hell does Jason Garrett still have a job? It's because Jerry told him what to do, and Jason did it because Jason's like, I want to collect a paycheck.
Yes.
And I don't feel like Mike McCarthy, though, is that guy. Like, I don't feel like Mike McCarthy is going to do something because Jerry Jones wants him to. And that's why I think he's been thrusted in as the de facto offensive coordinator. And I just don't see that ending well. I didn't see it ending well the minute it happened. And Dallas had a top-tier offense last year, too. And now you're going to do this to McCarthy? I'm like, ooh, that's just – you're setting the guy up to fail, and I feel like you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, and I think the players know that, okay, he's the coach, but he's not really in charge.
Right.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, I think there's a price to be paid for that, and I think that's one thing that's keeping them from becoming a better team. I think they've kind of keep bumping up against that same ceiling.
Can you ever remember a time where it worked out well for any team in any sport where – the head coach was just more like, you're the guy to keep the lights on. You're not really making the decisions.
You could argue, and I hate to do this because it's kind of insulting to the guys that won there, but you could argue that Al Davis did that to a degree especially after John Madden left.
Okay.
But, Tom Flores is a legitimate Hall of Famer, but especially after he left, I think we really saw there's just a bunch of guys coming in, and they were just supposed to do what Al told them to do.
Yeah,
he'd lost touch with the game a little bit.
And I had felt that way for a little bit when Spoelstra took over in Miami. Obviously, he showed out that he was a really great NBA coach. But for a little bit there, it feels like, oh, you're just the guy that's you're running what Pat Riley wants you to do. But I think over the years, Spoelstra's proved that's not right.
I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Yes. Yeah, so that to me is that's their issue. That's one thing about the 49ers is Kyle ain't checking his jet. What do you want me to do for all the criticism of Kyle? He's not doing that.
Remember, that's and it took Jed a hard lesson to learn not to do that when, he wanted basically more control, and Harbaugh just kind of LOL'd him, and it's like, okay, I'll bring in Jim Tom Sula to show you guys. And ooh. Still maybe the most awkward press conference I've ever watched.
I still think, some people say, they should have never gotten rid of Harbaugh. That was such a weird situation. And some of it, I think Harbaugh is just the type that will grind people.
Yes.
You're around him and he's successful. But then after a while, it's like, we just can't keep doing this.
He's kind of, to me, it's like the Tom Thibodeau effect, right? Like you bring the guy in when you want to reset your culture, and they're really good at what they do, but but they have a shelf life to them. And honestly, I think Thibodeau's outlived his shelf life in New York, to be honest. But I think Harbaugh's the type of guy who has a shelf life.
In college. You can
college
last longer.
Is way different because you're bringing in new recruits and you have a new team essentially every year in college, where it's like, man, after you've played for Harbaugh for 3, 4, 5 seasons in the NFL, you're kind of over it.
How long is Dion going to be a college coach? Well, don't answer that. We'll get to that on the other side. Also, you're really not supposed to be able to lose like that. Next here, Whitey and Watkins. We've got J Mars in for Chris today. Sactown Sports. Happy Monday.
The first ever NBA in-season tournament schedule is out, and our Kings have some great matchups, including national TV games against the Spurs and Warriors.
And Sacramento has won. They have risen to the occasion. And let me tell you, if you can't sense it, this place is absolutely nuts.
Listen to every game on the home of the Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Starting out your Tuesday with likely a layer or a jacket. After a comfortable morning start, we'll head through the afternoon with plenty of sunshine, light winds, and highs in the upper 80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hagen Oaks wants you to know about the exciting new T-Series irons from Titleist, offering effortless speed, exceptional feel, and precise control. Working with tour pros and dedicated amateurs, Titleist T-Series are available in 4 different models. The fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Ready for a night with Cole Swindell. The 2023 ACM Song of the Year winner hits Hard Health Park at Cal Expo in Sacramento, Saturday, September 9th for the CITP2 Fest. And Cole's bringing some friends like Chris Chanson, Dylan Scott, Matt Stell, and more. Tickets start at $40 at CITPFest.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sactown Sports headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. But as of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49ers insider Emil Fergosa's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Egg on my face. I know I said happy Monday and it's Tuesday. Sorry.
Ha! You made a mistake.
I know.
Loser.
Big one, too. Think of all the people that flew into blind panic. What? It's Monday! So, anyway, I asked you the question, J. Mars in for Chris Watkins. How long before primetime leaves college and becomes an NFL coach?
Ooh.
Colorado, one of the big stories of the college football weekend.
Oh, yeah. Beating number 17 TCU, team that went to the national title game. They were supposed to stomp on Colorado. Yeah. Coach Prime was having some fun post-game with a lot of those receipts he said he had kept.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Deion goes to the NFL. I feel like Deion is perfect for the college game. Like, he really is that guy. You know, because I think part of what makes Deion such a great college coach is that ability to recruit. That ability to walk into somebody's house and be like, I'm Deion Sanders. You're going to come play football for me today.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't work in the NFL.
No. There's something about the I know we talk about certain coaches in the pros of having kind of a my way or the highway vibe, but it's a lot easier for college coaches to have that.
Again, because you control so much at the college level. And again, once guys are tired of you, they're already going on to the NFL or they're graduating. You got a whole new crop of guys that you can put this aura, the Deion Sanders mystique onto. So I don't know. I don't know if Deion ever goes to the NFL. I will bet you this, though, so long as everything goes, well at Colorado, he will get several offers. He will get several offers to go to the NFL. I think
I might know somebody who would give him an offer at some point in a few years. He played for me and he was a very good player. But I'll bet you Primetime's way too smart to ever be the coach for the Cowboys.
Do you think
I'm not doing that?
Yeah, I don't think Prime ever goes there, but I could definitely see Jerry thinking to himself, well, I need to make a headline today.
Yes.
Let's offer Deion the job.
Yeah.
While McCarthy's still our coach. Dude, we might be in week 8 and Jerry's offering Prime the job. Like, don't put it past him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to happen like by the end of the year or anything, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. The Cowboys pursue Deion Sanders.
Yeah, they would be the one team I think that would make the most sense just because, again, you have an owner that wants to make a splash. Who would be another team you think? The Raiders? Like, I could see Mark Davis thinking to himself, like, this is the fix.
Yes.
And again, I think Prime is too smart, having played in the league for so long and knowing what it is to go to Vegas. Deion's not a big into drinking or anything or gambling like that anyways. I can't imagine Deion wants to live in Vegas.
Just thinking of his old stomping grounds, the ATL. I don't know.
That would make more sense.
He's too smart to go anywhere where they're not already good.
Yeah, that's
he's not
true.
going to go somewhere thinking, well, we'll turn this whole. He might be able to, but the really smart coaches know. I'm going to go somewhere where they already should have been winning. They're underperforming, and all I got to do is go there, and I'm going to look like a genius if I don't do anything.
I got one for you. When Bill Belichick decides to hang it up. New England, the tradition, the Patriot way.
Is that a tough act to follow, even if they have fallen off?
You know what? It depends on how long they've fallen off, right? Because, the Patriots really haven't been great for 3 years now. Let's say they're not great this year. Belichick comes back next year. They're not great 5 years later. I don't think at all. I think actually it's an easier act to follow the longer it goes on.
Maybe so. I just think Deion, like we were saying, and you pointed this out before I did, Deion Sanders goes in there with college kids. It's like,
yes.
And with the NFL, some guys would be like that, but it's a lot more difficult. Oh, he's the coach. He used to,
especially for veterans, right?
He used to play. Yeah. Especially, yeah. And even the younger guys are like, I don't know who that is.
Yes.
Like Anthony Edwards with A-Rod. Who is he? I don't know who he is.
That's a crazy one. I link that more to Anthony Edwards just did not care about baseball, right? Like that has to be it. Because if you know the slightest thing about baseball, like the most casual person knows who Alex Rodriguez is.
Yes.
The man kissed himself in the mirror.
Anthony Edwards was not very good today, by the way.
No, but
anyway, we'll get to that.
You know who it was.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We'll get to that coming up. But college football, another crazy thing that happened last night. How does this happen? Clemson, let's see, they threw for 200 yards last night.
Ugh.
Clemson also ran for 200 yards last night. They had 12 more first downs, 48 more yards than Duke, and Duke beats them 28-7. That's not supposed to even happen.
The greatness of Coach K, right?
Yes.
Oh, wait, this is football?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Dabo Sweeney said, it's almost indescribable what I just saw.
Screw Dabo
It's
Sweeney.
incredibly frustrating when you had so much opportunity. It's routine stuff, the basics, the fundamentals, basic stuff.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's like I only found out Duke had a football team when Daniel Jones got drafted. Not that they didn't have one before, but it's like obviously we know Duke is a basketball school, but like over the last several years, they've kind of made themselves into this competent football team. And so, yeah, and when you look at the statistics, number one, how the hell does it happen? Number two, are you noticing a weird, it's not parallel, but the difference of when people celebrate Duke basketball versus football? It's like Duke football we look at is like, oh my God, that is adorable. This underdog school coming up.
Good for them.
Where it's like if Duke basketball wins, it's like, oh my God, everybody hate them. They're the worst people alive.
That's a great point. But they did. It was almost like they were storming the court after the football.
Yes. I mean, that's
victory.
Clemson. It's a very good football school.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's the equivalent of Duke losing in basketball. Okay, this is a little hyperbolic, but follow me here. It's like Duke losing to Sac State. Again, I know it's a bit hyperbolic. I understand.
Very
that.
hyperbolic.
Thank you. But you get the point I'm trying to make. It wasn't supposed to happen.
Clemson struggled in what I call the red zone. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's that TV channel, right?
2 short field goals were blocked, 2 fumbles by the offense following a 1st and goal at the 1. So that's how you lose when you rush for 200, you throw for 200. It's you get in the red zone and then just throw up on yourself repeatedly.
Part of those 200s is that you have to get the ball in the end zone or through the uprights within that number, right? Yeah, that's how that works. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's painfully early in the college football season.
Who do you think?
Duke, by the way, had not beaten a top 10 program since 1989.
Okay, so my Sac State reference isn't that often.
Who did? Wasn't it? Didn't Davis? What was that? 2010. Davis beat Stanford.
Yeah. I remember that. Was that's not the same year?
Then I think they went and beat him in basketball too later.
Yeah, no. I think that's pre-Jim Les, though, right? Jim was at Bradley still. I don't know who was the head coach there for basketball. But no, it's just, what do you think is going to be a more interesting? What would be a more interesting development? Duke turning into a good college football team, a top 25, or Dion taking Colorado and being like a top 10 school this year?
I think it's Dion because it's just already people have already gravitated to what he's doing. It's so good, especially now college football with things falling apart, different conferences, which doesn't really affect what's on the field, but something's lost in terms of the tradition.
Yeah.
College football could use a boost, and Dion right now, I know it's only one game, but man, people are just electrified by what he's done.
Do you think it will be just one game, or do you think, very successful Jackson State, very successful. Do you think?
I'm not saying it will only be one game.
No, that's what I'm wondering. Is it just like, oh my God, this is one great moment, or is it like, okay, like what they said, we really underestimated what Dion was going to bring to Colorado, and we should have really took seriously what he was doing at a mid-major in Jackson State?
Yeah, I do. Don't you?
Yeah, I get that feeling. Like I said, it'd be one thing to have competed with TCU. They went in there and beat them pretty handily.
Mm-hmm.
That to me says there's way more meat on the bone of Colorado is actually a good football program right now.
You got Continental, son. That's what they did to them.
Is that what happened?
That's what.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exactly what our Prime said in the post, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't think he's going to go to the NFL?
No. I think he'll be intrigued by it. I think he'll have overtures. I don't think he ultimately goes.
I think he'll just have a chance to make too much more money.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to get goofy about the amount of money they offer. But again, we're talking, at least 2 years.
But the other side of that too is I don't see him going to the NFL. I also don't see him finishing I don't see him in Colorado in 5 years. I see him again moving up that order in the what is the remains of the Power Five. I can see him at an SEC school in 5 years.
He's going to end up at Florida State, isn't he?
That makes the most sense when you talk about
if he wants to.
And Florida State's a good school to go to, not just from the traditional standpoint that he played there. This is a team that is like a legitimately good football program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he wants to go there, I think that would definitely be a thing.
Coming up next, the FIBA World Cup. Guess what? It starts to get very interesting now, and that's next year on Whitey and Watkins with Jay Mars in today, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make $500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton. See all our inventory and specials at AcuraofStockton.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday A3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
I want you to want me.
Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville presents Cheap Trick live Saturday, October 21st. Get your tickets now at goldcountrycasino.com. Cheap Trick, October 21st at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Summertime and River Cats baseball are the perfect pairing. The only thing missing is you. With weekly promotions, premium giveaway games, and unique theme nights, there's fun for everyone at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. Visit rivercats.com to purchase tickets.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
Thanks for being with us today, Whitey Gleason and J Mars. You know, the World Cup is going on in the Philippines, and I was reading an article last week about what's going on in the Philippines, and my wife is her father's from the Philippines, and so she's told me about some of the things they eat there that are a little different than what we would eat here. But this article talked about something called fried pig face, and I'd never heard of that. Have you ever? I just got for
I've been called that a couple times, but I've never heard of it as food.
I've never heard of that, and I forgot to ask Sheena if she's ever heard of that. But yeah, I know there's some strange things, from an American standpoint, they eat some strange things, but fried pig face actually sounds pretty straightforward. It's still not something that I would have at the top of my list.
Really? Even if it was like, the pig face had like, it was juicy meat.
Well, fried, you got me considering it.
Yes,
you start with
right?
fried,
You
like,
start with fried.
Pig face. Well, fried pig face. Well, so kind of like bacon? I mean,
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, is this just a different form of bacon? It might be.
it might be. I don't know.
If anybody listening does fried pig face on the reg, we'll try it.
If in any way, shape, or form you can look at it and go, whoa, that looks like a pig's face, I don't want it. But if it's just strips of, like, if it looks like bacon, it's like.
So as long as you don't see eyes or a snout, you're good.
Exactly.
I'm looking at pictures online right now,
Yeah?
and you can tell it's a face.
Okay, I
well.
probably wouldn't want any then. What do you think, Chris? Especially after you were out last week with some stomach issues. You ready for some fried pig face?
I'd wait a week or two, but yeah, I'd try it.
Yeah, I'm open to those things.
Or the try.
Yeah.
I mean, lumpia is like
lumpia is the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
Lumpia, and I love pancetta.
I was going to say,
man,
yes.
I love pancetta.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Chicken adobo. I mean,
fried pig
if
face.
if you've never dabbled in Filipino cuisine, you're missing out. It is delicious.
You ever heard of something called balut?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
I
Okay.
have.
So then you know about some of these strange.
They're good though.
Is it?
They're good.
Oh, I've never had that one.
Oh, try it.
No.
Why?
I don't want that.
Don't be that guy.
I just would
Don't
rather
be
not
that
eat that.
guy.
I'd rather not eat it. That's all.
You'd rather be that guy.
It might be good, but I'd rather not eat it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. The U.S. has been, I don't know, eating well or something. They did lose a game to, they lost to Lithuania, but they bounced back and beat Italy. They pounded Italy.
And Lithuania out of the tournament now.
Yes.
They lost.
Well, by losing to Lithuania, then the U.S. played Italy today, and then Lithuania had to play Slovenia.
And
Slovenia
that
knocked
Luker guy,
Lithuania
right?
Out. Yes.
Yeah.
The U.S. beats Italy 100-63.
Did you watch that game this morning? Did you get up in time? I watched the second half.
I forgot.
Well, how do you forget FIBA World Cup basketball?
Yeah. I was up, I think before it started, and I had forgotten. And I saw the scores like, I could have been watching the FIBA World Cup.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
No, I only saw
I'm a
this.
fried pig face.
Wow. Just all sorts of wow. I'm going to leave that one alone. But you could tell the U.S., they were just toying with Italy today. I mean, you have Tyrese Halliburton, who had an amazing game, by the way. I think he was 6 of 8 from 3. Throwing between the leg alley-oops to Paolo Banchero, which I thought was really mean given the whole Banchero-Italy issue. I don't know. Have you been up on that? Like, apparently Banchero allegedly committed to play for Italy. Now, he has Italian citizenship because his dad, I don't know how that works, but he's born and raised in the United States.
Right. Well, Kyle Anderson was playing for China. So
yeah, and I don't remember what was the basis of Anderson getting his citizenship there? Is it a parent?
He used to live in the same neighborhood as a Chinese restaurant. So
why do I feel like you're lying, but also feel like that's super believable?
It was the same area as a Chinese restaurant. So no, I think it's
something on his mom's side, right?
I don't know.
But anyway, so Banchero, that's been a whole issue, and like the Italian Federation has just made a big deal about this, that he basically lied to them and he's this terrible person. They asked Paolo yesterday if he had any comments. I don't know if you saw his elaborate answer. I can recite the whole thing. You ready?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But yeah. So they move in, and I believe they play the winner of Lativa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Latvia, and who's Latvia playing?
Deutschland.
Yes, Germany.
Yes.
And I believe, has the U.S. played Germany already?
They played him in their practice round.
And beat him pretty good.
I think
it was a good
pulled
game.
away, but I think it was a really good game. Germany has some size, and that has given the U.S. some problems. So, yeah, Americans, they reach the gold medal game if they win Friday in a semifinal against either Germany or Latvia. You also have Bogey's still alive, too.
Yes.
Serbia's still alive.
Yeah, Serbia's still alive. The team, though, that I think the matchup, obviously, we selfishly want to see, just because I think it is the best matchup from when you look at the two rosters. It's U.S. versus Canada, right?
Oh, Canada. Yes. Canada plays Slovenia.
Yeah, no, that'll be a tough test with the old Luker there. But, man, Canada's got a good squad. When did Canada become so basketballically relevant? in like the last 10 years, man, they have put out some top-notch NBA
And those
talent.
are legitimate Canadian guys.
Yes, yeah,
It's
they're not
like the Kyle Anderson rule.
Right, no, they didn't just play for the Raptors for a year and magically got Canadian
I watched the hockey
citizenship.
game on TV. Now I'm going to play for
No,
Canada.
these guys are born in Canada. Yeah, I've always found it strange the guys who end up getting citizenship, and you can tell they just want to play, whether it's the Olympics or the tournament. So they'll look at like Serge Ibaka when he was playing for Spain was always a fun one. Chris Kaman in Germany.
Mhm.
Like Chris Kaman was like born and raised in the United States. There's a few other ones. I think the most egregious one I saw though was the World Baseball Classic when Randy Rosarino was playing for Mexico because his baby mama.
Really?
Yes. Randy
I know.
Ortiz is 0% Mexican.
Bruce Bochy was managing France. But I don't think they got out of the qualifiers, but they sent him over there, because he's French. I think he was born there. But
He's born there at
Yeah.
least. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. It's just kind of
Oh,
curious.
I have no problem with guys coaching
Can
or
you imagine
managing.
how bad you're Bruce Bochy? Pardon me. Sorry for interrupting.
That's
you.
fine.
You're Bruce Bochy. You've managed in the World Series. You go, here's your team. Monsieur, this is your French national team.
We do not get in front of the ground ball.
Yeah. Those guys are terrible.
God, yeah, suck. I gotta come out of
but he's like a
retirement,
hero.
manage Texas.
Let's see here. Box score: USA over Italy, 100-63. Here's what worries me. Maybe he just wasn't interested. Anthony Edwards, he's the guy, right? He's him. He's the face of this team. He had 3 points today. 1 of 6 field goal shooting. 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. So overall, 2 of 11.
I think personally, he was just in a trance watching Tyrese Halliburton destroy Italy today. Like, Tyrese Halliburton played really well. I feel like Tyrese's game is perfect for FIBA. Like, he is just one of those. There's certain players that
The international game?
The international game just really works out for them. I mean, Tyrese, and I really like what the U.S. has done with this FIBA World Cup roster. It's not just go get the 12 best players.
I love this roster.
They have it's a talented roster 1 through 12, but it's pieces that fit together, And
It's a little small.
A little small, but you know what? NBA likes to play small ball basketball, and
Steve Kerr loves it.
Oh yeah. No, you don't think there's any coincidence that Steve Kerr, the guy who coaches a team with nobody over 6'9", also has a quote unquote small team
They
on
didn't
the
even
US?
start a center today. They started 3 guards and then 2 forwards.
Death
but
lineup.
you play some of the somebody. If you play Germany, it would be. They do have Kessler on the bench, but it'd be nice to have. I don't know why you don't have a little size available.
And
That's
folks,
what I don't understand.
Walker Kessler, not Kings legend Kessler S-words, right?
Right. Walker Kessler. Yes.
By the way, Walker Kessler is going to be an all-star in the league. He's really
Is he already
good.
better than Gobert, the guy that they?
I mean, if you factor in contract and attitude, age, all of that, if you had to start a roster today, Whitey, and you had Walker
It's not
Kessler or
even
Rudy
close.
Gobert, it's Walker
Yeah.
Kessler, right?
Yes. Walker, you stay, and Rudy, you're walking.
Yeah.
And by the way, how did France do in the FIBA World Cup?
Boy, old Rudy was
Au
talking.
revoir.
Yeah, old Rudy was talking about how difficult it was. Did you see Tony Parker ripped him specifically and France like a new
I didn't
one?
see that, but good.
Yeah, Tony Parker is a good Frenchman.
The
Quality
Olympics-
human being.
The Olympics are going to be in France, though, so
Oh.
they will bounce
Well,
back.
they get automatic qualifier, right? Because of that.
I assume so. That's one of the good things about the USA in the FIBA World Cup. They did qualify.
Yeah,
for the
they're
Olympics.
qualified, so they don't have to play in any sort of because there is an Olympic qualifying tournament
Yeah.
if you don't make. Yeah, okay.
Coming up next, how much does it matter that the newest king has won 3 rings? Is that a ring thing, or is it really something doesn't matter? That's next year. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Christian McCaffrey lead the NFL in?
Oh, we're on YouTube. I forgot. Thanks, Chris, for a lot. We're still live on the tube.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, we can give the tube then the details of JaVale McGee's deal.
Yeah.
So McGee's deal with the Kings is 1 year, fully guaranteed, $3.19 million veteran minimum. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the NBA pay that contract?
I didn't know that.
I
I'm
think
not going to say
there's
you're wrong.
something
but
in the CBA that veteran minimum deals are paid for by the NBA.
Really?
With the idea being the NBA wants teams to, and it's probably something they do with the Players Association. They'd rather have teams sign these veteran guys and keep them employed as long as possible to the point they'll pay the veteran minimum.
So it's like an incentive to sign.
Yeah,
them?
it's an incentive to sign veteran players over, young guys that will cost you next to nothing on your roster.
Well, I don't know about that.
Should I tweet Bobby Marks? I'm going to tweet him. Let's see if he responds to me.
Yeah, and I don't want to waste any more of anyone's time trying to sort that out. But that's an interesting concept that I had not heard of before. NBA veteran minimum explained. There are different types of minimum contracts. Anyway, I think there's a chance that Javale McGee helps the Kings a great deal, especially at that price.
Oh, wow.
I do.
You're big. That's why you put the song out. You're trying to get on the JaVale McGee bandwagon early. I'm here for this.
Yeah. I think, were you in like the day we found out that he was coming here?
Oh.
I think I talked to you about that. I thought we've had this conversation before.
I don't know if it's on or off the air, but we have conversed about it.
Yeah. And I think initially we were both saying, and the more I think about it, the more I'm warming up to it. I mean, it's possible that he's just done, that he's just too old and he can't do it anymore. But if you go back to like 2 years ago, what he did with the Suns, if he can do anything like that,
yeah,
that will help.
Especially because the Kings really struggled last year against longer teams. Because the Kings, and it's not just at the center position, they don't have a ton of length at any of their positions, And I remember watching them play Orlando both times last year. I'm like, man, the Magic would just beat them up on the board, and they're a super long team. And then you watch like the Celtics, who are a long team. The Sixers just annihilate the Kings. And I could definitely see if he has something left in the tank that I see him getting minutes against longer teams where they need help on the boards, because he could be that guy, he can protect the rim as well.
And I know that this doesn't mean he's going to be good this year, but if you watch any of his YouTube reels, like his best blocks, things like that, man, he's made some incredible plays. Again, that doesn't mean that he's going to be good this year, but I am surprised to look at some of the things that he has done.
But you know why I think that surprise kicks in, and I've caught myself doing this too, is because he had that string, right, where he was always on Shaqtin' the Fool, where he'd make those boneheaded plays. And I think that became the narrative, like he's this bonehead. But when you actually look at just his overall body of work, like he's been a really good NBA player.
On some pretty good teams too.
Yeah, I mean, he's three rings, and he's been a significant contributor on those teams. And
I don't know what happened in Dallas, but they did that last year. They brought in Christian Wood for a while, and he was good. And then they decided, no, we're not playing him either.
Yeah, I tend to treat the Dallas situation as an anomaly for him. I was going back and forth, kind of like you were. I was like, okay, was that a sign last year that he had nothing left in the tank, or were strange things just afoot in Dallas? And I'm of the opinion that Jason Kidd's not a great head coach.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
So it'll be interesting. And now he's back with Mike Brown, who he's obviously had a lot of success with, dating back to their time in in Golden State.
The problem with Dallas, we were talking about the Cowboys, their problem. I think the problem with the Mavs is that everything's based on keeping Luka happy.
Right.
And Luka is phenomenal as he is.
Over
I don't know that he's good enough to he will win us a championship by himself. So when everything is geared towards, does it make the team better? I don't know. Well, does it make Luka happy? Oh, we got to do it then. Then you're at cross purposes.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Flying U Rodeo, providing quality family entertainment for more than 60 years. Whitey Gleason and Jay Mars. We were just talking on the YouTube chat there about the Dallas Mavericks, who decided last year, hey, JaVale McGee's our guy. And then I think he started, 6 games, and they decided, no,
JaVale McGee's not our guy.
Yeah, and so now he's a member.
I got an idea.
He's a member of the Sacramento Kings, but which JaVale are the Kings getting? The one that Dallas decided couldn't do it, or the guy who the year before in Phoenix had a magnificent season? The guy who won 3 rings or the guy who was shacked in a fool? Which Javale McGee are the Kings getting?
If I was a betting man, which I'm not, 1-800 gambler, I would bet the Kings get something in between Phoenix JaVale and Dallas JaVale, which is obviously goes to show that he has something left in the tank. But I was telling you this in the YouTube audience as well. I really went back and forth on, all right, is JaVale done? Was the Dallas situation an indication that, you know, he just doesn't have it in the tank anymore after weirdly having it in the tank the year before? Or is this another weird Mavericks issue? I don't feel Jason Kidd is a great head coach. And you brought this up to me, and I tend to agree with you. I feel like Dallas does whatever it is that's going to make Luka Doncic happy. And I think that's a recipe for disaster personally. And I think JaVale, and you brought up another name too, Christian Wood was a guy who, by the way, is not signed yet, correct?
Right.
And
I think we know why, though, now, finally.
Yes, but they brought him in, and you would have thought, okay, here's a stretch 5. That's a guy that can, you know, open up some floor space for Luka. And they decided, you know what, Christian Wood, not it either.
The weird thing about Christian Wood, if you check, is he put up numbers there.
Yes.
And they still decided,
Well, the only thing with Christian Wood, and you know who actually
Christian Wood, but I wouldn't.
That was really well done. That's A-level stuff from you today.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
wasn't a fan of the fried pig reference, but that was much better. Good rebound.
All right.
The thing with Christian Wood, Jason Ross brought this up to me. He's like, you know, watching the Kings play the Mavericks, watching Christian Wood play. He's a good player. But the minute Christian Wood touches the ball does not go anywhere else. So when you factor that in with Luka Doncic, who wants the ball all the time, I can see why that was a clash.
It's possible that no one in the history of the game has ever been as good as Christian Wood thinks Christian Wood is.
Christian Wood is a big Fan of Christian Wood.
He is a skilled player.
He's a good player.
But he's not as good as he thinks he is.
No, he is a very good role player. That if he understood his role and understood his role is not to be an all-star, I think would be easily a very good contributing player on a top level playoff team.
And it looks like that's why he's still, I know there was talk of the Lakers signing him, but he's still unemployed, right?
Yeah. And you would think
like
a guy
he's a talented guy, but he is not interested in helping our team the way we want him to help our team.
And look at where he's put up all his numbers. Detroit, LOL. Houston, by the time he was there, LOL. And then Dallas,
briefly.
LOL.
So JaVale McGee coming to the Kings, he's won 3 rings. I know that's one of those things that, especially in the old days when the Kings would bring in, when the Kings were really struggling, you know, the 880s, early 90s, and they'd bring in somebody, maybe a coach or a GM who said, this guy has won. Ooh, he's won.
Dick Motta.
And it didn't always matter. So how much does it matter, in your opinion, that JaVale McGee has won 3 rings?
It matters because of, and I think when you bring in guys, right, and you look at the whole ring situation, for instance, the veteran guys, so to speak, I think the ring thing matters when you're a playoff team. Like, if we knew the Kings were winning 25 to 30 games this year and they brought in JaVale McGee, and the reason why they're selling this is, man, this is a guy that's won 3 rings. He knows about good culture. We've seen in the past that doesn't matter, to your point, right? Like, at the end of the day, talent matters. But I do think it matters to have a guy who's done it the way JaVale McGee has, where he was a contributor, you know, in the recent past, so to speak. He didn't win rings 12 years ago. He last won a ring 3 years ago.
Right.
And
although he didn't play in the finals that year.
He didn't, but you look at 2 years prior to that, he had won rings in Golden State.
Yes.
You know, and again, and that team is still very much, that core is together. That's still very much on people's minds.
Still?
Yeah, I think when you look at the Warriors, you're still looking at a team. I mean, we look at them as a team that's still contending based upon the past. I think it does matter. I think having that extra guy in the locker room, by the way, and if he plays, when you bring that credibility, guys listen to you. And I think he brings credibility into the locker room, and I think that matters.
I think it matters not so much because he's won rings, but because he's won rings with Mike Brown.
Yes.
That, to me, is where it matters.
It's almost a reinforcement of what Mike Brown's doing is, okay, if any time, and, you know, there was no really hint of this last year, but if there's a point where the team might be questioning something, having a guy that's won with him, especially on the defensive side, right? Because that's what Mike was known for in Golden State, to reinforce. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that does kind of get the attention of the locker room, so to speak.
Yeah, and he knows what to do. Again, the question is physically, with another year added on, can he still do it? But he knows what to do. And also the other thing is, we all know he addresses a real need for this team. Again, if he's close to being the JaVale McGee of old, they're so bad defensively.
Yeah.
That if he can defend anywhere close to what he was, he makes them better defensively.
Right.
And they need that. If they're going to try to be better this year, you know it, J. Mars. I've been sitting here all year going, wow, that's a good move. That's a good move. But how does it help him defensively? Vasenkov, man, he looks like a good player, but he doesn't help you defensively. Where are the moves that help you defensively? And here potentially is one. Yay.
Yes, no, and I expect them to get better defensively just because they have another year with the same system.
I was on with Kyle Draper, and he got Matt Barnes on, and I asked Matt Barnes that, and he said, yeah, that's a thing, just by virtue of having played the system another year.
Right, because the thing about it, and I've always said this, I think defense is a lot harder to get down than offense, because offense for 82 games, you're essentially running the same thing every single night, no matter who you're playing. And you saw that with the Kings. Like, their offense, they don't change their offense based upon matchups. Defense is hard to get down because you're trying to get a system down, but you're looking at a different look every single night. And so I think, and you
have to change your defense.
You have to change it. And that goes back to the continuity thing. The more time you get together, the more time you see the same thing on the court together. I think defense on a team standpoint improves dramatically because of that. So now add in a guy who knows how to play defense and does know the scheme already, which is a big deal. I expect them to take a leap defensively. Do I think they'll be a top 10 defense? No. But tell me this.
I think one of my bold predictions was they'd be top 20 this year.
Okay. But let's go bolder.
Okay.
Shall we? Let's get real bold. If this team is around 15 to 17, kind of middle of the road, but keeps their same offensive efficiency, like that's a 50-plus win team, in my opinion.
Well, do you know who was 15th in the NBA in defensive rating last year?
I do not.
The Denver Nuggets.
Oh.
They did pretty good.
They did. Didn't they win that championship
They
thing?
won. Yeah. The big hunk of metal at the end.
That's what I'm saying. If you have an elite offense and just a middle, like legit middle of the road defense, like that's the recipe to success in the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it's more true than ever because everybody's playing better and better offense. I also think this is one of the keys to the Kings that a lot of people don't really want to talk about. And it's not a criticism, but I think it's a fact we can't really ignore. The Kings' two best players are Fox and Sabonis, right?
Yes.
You agree? Okay, Fox has the ability to be a really good defender.
Yes.
He's not yet, but he can be, and I think he's improving.
We've seen it, right? We've seen it happen.
Yeah, and Sabonis is a very, very willing defender and plays hard, but he's very limited, and he's probably never going to be a very good defender. And it's not because he doesn't try to be. He just doesn't have the physical ability to be an excellent defender.
But if he's an average defender, is that like kind of where you kind of want Sabonis to be, like an average defender?
I think. And again, it's not, we always say, well, defense is just trying hard. And it's clearly not at that level because you got a guy like Sabonis. Nobody works harder, but he's still not a great defender.
Right. And I'd like to, I wish we had a guy like Doug in here right now. I've always thought the idea that
we have his golf club.
We do have his golf clubs, his putter, which I'm not good
and
with.
His chipper, I think.
Yeah, it is his chipper, his Jones.
Yeah.
I think the idea that
the game of golf.
Thank you, Chris.
Marsh.
That was needed.
Yeah.
I think the idea that defense is just working hard is probably the stupidest thing in the world. Like, it's a lot more than just effort. Like, defense is just effort. No.
It's a huge part of it.
It's a huge part of it. But the idea that that's it, that there's no other involvement, like, there's not a really good offensive team that you're defending that night. Well, if you just throw some effort out there, it'll thwart them.
People say that about rebounding too. And I remember I asked Harold Presley once, like, what do you need? What does every team need, to be a better rebounding team? And he said, every team needs one guy, at least one guy who that's what he does.
Yeah.
And he's going after everything.
Yes.
So there is some truth to the importance of giving that focus and effort. But defensively, no, at the NBA level, it takes more than just the will. You've got to have the physical ability. Otherwise, I'd be a top-level NBA defender.
Same. Dude, if I just go out there and try hard, I would have been in the NBA 15 years ago. Going back to De'Aaron, though, on the defensive end, I thought what an understated part of fourth quarter Fox last year, as we just looked at the clutch points, was that's when he really locked down on the other guy defensively. Do you think it would be, how big of a leap is it if he starts that level of defense, though, but for an entire half? Not a full game, but just for a half. What does that do for this team?
I don't know. It's funny you mentioned that because I was starting to wonder about that one game last year, maybe it's November or so. And, he had that thing where just fourth quarter he just took off and it's like, they cannot stop him. And I was wondering, why doesn't he just do that the whole game? And Mike Brown, not long after that, was just talking about that to the media and said, now we want him to evolve and become one of those guys who does that the whole game. And I think he's obviously making strides towards that. Another one of my bold predictions is he's going to average 30 a game this year.
Yeah, I like that one.
But I think it's just physically, and the starters played a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do that the whole time. It's just, and it's not just when I don't want to. It's just physically difficult to maintain that level that long.
For 40 minutes for 82 games.
Yeah.
You're not even looking at playoffs. No, it's extremely difficult. We've seen LeBron James, when he turns it on, is one of the best defenders in the NBA. But how many times have we seen LeBron James, especially during the regular season, like he don't hit that button for 48 minutes. Like he picks and chooses his spots, especially because you got guys that are defensive specialists. And I think the reason they can do that is because you don't expect anything from them on offense. With Fox, you're literally arguably the best offensive player on the team. To try to maintain being the best offensive player on the team and a top-level defender for 40-plus minutes a night, to your point, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah. What comes to mind as you're describing the great two-way player is, Clay used to be, but Drew Holiday.
Oh, yes.
But he's, I think, bigger and stronger than De'Aaron Fox.
And that matters too, and another guy who I always thought was a great two-way player, but I also think it took a toll on them is Paul George. Kawhi Leonard, another great two-way player, but these are also guys that have suffered injuries in the past, and I don't know, does that play into that? Is that why we load manage them? Because we expect them to basically give 100% on both sides of the court for 40-plus minutes?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions that go into that.
So as far as the 3 rings go, it's a great thing as long as JaVale McGee is still able physically to do the type of things he did for Mike Brown in Golden State.
Right, and
it's not like people are going, 3 rings, woo, no, but
if you go back to, and again, if you get somewhere between half of what he was then and half of last year, and you get that guy's still a contributor on the team.
I think
right?
so.
I do too.
Yeah. I think he's going to play a lot of games and, like 15 minutes a game, maybe 14 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all you need though.
Yeah. And I've been thinking Nerlens Noel could be that guy. And now I think, it's probably going to be McGee. They're obviously not both. I don't think they're both going to get a shot.
Which is interesting because they still have one roster spot available, and you have Noel and Keita both on partially guarantees. And you don't have a third point guard yet. I think that 15th roster spot will go to a third point guard.
Jordan Ford. Excuse me.
I think Jordan Ford is an excellent choice for obvious reasons there. But I really just from a numbers game, I don't see Noel or Keita making the team this year.
No, I don't think so. But they'll have their chance.
Yeah,
obviously.
Again, they got to come back and play. But yeah, I don't know.
I do see if JaVale comes out and he's like, I just don't have it anymore. Then I think the door opens for
sure
Noel. By the way, we're brought to you by Flying U Rodeo, providing quality family entertainment for over 60 years. So that was nice to see a potentially promising piece fall into the Kings' lap this late in the offseason.
No, I actually thought that was a really good late offseason signing.
Do you have any bold Kings predictions? Because you don't have to. You're not obligated.
I have so many bold Kings predictions.
Okay. We have our bold Kings predictions of the day, and we have more bad bold predictions from the Kings past that we will share with you. It's coming up here. Whitey and Watkins with J Mars in for Watkins today on Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no paint since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Come in now for a free arch support fitting and test walk.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
I've got a crystal ball.
Yeah.
It's full of Kings Bowl predictions, and I'll make them all season long. Off the top of the dome.
Hopefully that wasn't on the air at all.
Oh, I think it might have accidentally been.
Sorry I stepped on the intro there. But I got to get in. I like Edgar Renneria. That's what every time I hear that song.
Edgar Renneria.
Edgar Renneria.
It's the second Edgar Renneria reference, by the way, I've heard in the last week.
Huh.
I forgot the
Dude,
first.
your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
Seriously. Edgar Renneria references more than once a year. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. What was the first?
I think it was FPJ had mentioned something about Renneria, but she's a diehard Giants fan.
Yes,
so it
he
makes
is.
sense.
This is a quick story. He played for the Cardinals, correct?
Yes.
And then he went to the Red Sox. So
He played for a lot of teams.
So my family, they lived at St. Louis at the time, my aunt and uncle, and we went to the Red Sox Cardinals game. And my aunt she said, like, hey, Cardinals fans are such great fans. When you see Edgar Renteria come up, even though he was on the Cardinals last year, they're going to give him a standing ovation because he's a former Cardinal. So I'm like, oh, okay. And we get there, it's like, now batting Edgar Renteria. And she's like, oh, I've never seen this before.
That is beneath us Cardinal fans. God, Edgar Renneria, 3-time All-Star at the Cardinals.
I'm sure you saw this. You guys probably talked about it on the morning show when Trey Turner got a standing ovation from Phillies fans.
Yes.
Just to show, we support you, even though he's been terrible. And he's been hitting, I think, 370 since then. Mauser said today. That's great, but that's it. Philly fans don't do that.
No, it was really weird. It was like, did they all get together? Every single one of them get drunk and be like, let's try this.
That's great.
Yeah, usually they would, just make death threats or tell him his kid's ugly or something.
Hey, we're behind you. He had to feel like, what am I getting punked?
Right.
Where is it?
No, yeah, where are the hidden cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the Astros dugout.
Yeah. We're using them for something else, but yeah, we've got them over here.
I think it's the equivalent of when you're in high school and you pick the quiet kid as a prom king as like a joke.
Right? Yeah. No, for sure.
By the way, Verlad, did you see the billboards that they had at the Oakland Coliseum?
I did. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys haven't seen those? Those same billboards are running in Cal Expo right now.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. They have bought advertising in Sacramento. If you go on Business 80 past Cal Expo, those Ace billboards are up now. Yeah.
And what is Cavill's mom's name?
I think it's Fisher's mom.
No, I think they say Doris. I think it's Doris.
Yeah, Doris is the name, but that's Fisher's mom's name, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Cavill.
No, it's Fisher's mom's name.
Doris, get your kid?
Yeah.
Wow. Man. That's good.
No, I liked it a lot.
That's good billboard.
We're all part of the same
miracle.
That brings us to Bold Kings predictions. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'd like you to go
You're
first.
not even obligated to have any.
Oh, I'll have some.
Okay. Last season, I don't know how closely you follow this, Jay Mars, but last season, Domantas Sabonis led the NBA in rebounding with 12.3 a game.
That's pretty good.
No one else on the Kings averaged as many as 5 rebounds a game.
Sounds about right.
Keegan was at 4.6 per game. Barnes at 4.5. In 2023-24, Sabonis will again lead the team. That's hardly a bold prediction. Here's the bold prediction. Keegan, Vezenkov, and JaVale McGee will all average 5 or more rebounds per game. The Kings will have 4 players averaging at least 5 rebounds per game this year.
Dare I say, I agree.
Really?
I do. I actually think Vezenkov coming in, we've obviously talked about his offensive game. Vezenkov was a really good rebounder at the Euro level.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to expect part of Keegan's jump to be getting on the boards. And then who's the other one you said?
JaVale McGee.
Yeah, just by coincidence, he'll grab 5 boards a game.
Last year, I don't know how many teams had 4 players with averaging 5 or more rebounds a game. I know Memphis did, and I think Milwaukee did. I'm not sure how many other teams. So it's not that rare, but it's not common either.
I have a bold prediction for you, Whitey Gleason.
Okay.
In his rookie year, Davion Mitchell shot 31% from three.
That's a fact. That's not a prediction. You're just reading stats from last year.
In his second year.
Actually a fact.
Yeah, thank you.
He shot 32% from three.
Okay.
Bold prediction time in year 3. Davion Mitchell will reclaim his three-point glory from his final year at Baylor and shoot 40% or more from three this season.
That is very bold because I made a similar prediction on his three-point shooting, but it wasn't that bold.
What was it? Did he go under 30?
You said that it would be 35%.
I thought that was a bold prediction.
I think
it was so bold that we've got Watkins was saying that, you're obsessed with Davion Mitchell.
Well, I don't know how he's going to feel about me saying 40% or higher, but yeah, 3-point Davion.
Why do you say that?
Because if you watch it, I think he's been really working on that part of his game in the offseason. I think the playoffs were such a huge wake-up call for him where, those final couple games, he was really struggling to find minutes because he could not put the ball in the basket. And the reason why I think he can get to 40% is he was a really good shooter his final year at Baylor, because his first couple years at Baylor, he couldn't shoot, but he developed into a 40% three-point shooter. And Davion's the type of guy that I'm sure took that, to heart last year, not getting those minutes in the playoffs because of his offense. I think you're going to see a big burst through. We've talked a lot about the Keegan Murray jump this year. Be on the lookout for the Davion Mitchell jump this year, because if they get a jump from Davion Mitchell, boy, does that change things a lot for this team.
The Davion Mitchell jump and the Davion Mitchell jumper.
Yes.
I'll never forget game 1 of the playoff series last year against the Warriors, and both teams were struggling. The Kings were especially struggling offensively. Davion came in his first jumper, like he nailed a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I remember looking at that going, I don't know why he can't do that more often. His nice feathery touch, nice high arch. He's square. He's got the components of a really good shot. He should be a better shooter. And I think his I don't know if you have the numbers there. His free throw shooting was really good last year.
Yeah, he was 80% from the line last year.
And that's a really good indication.
And by the way, that's a jump from 65% the year before. He jumped 15% at the line.
Yeah, but if you're going to shoot 80-something%, that means you're a good shooter.
Right.
So, and then also you've got the fact that he's worked with Steph Curry's shooting coach, and he wants to play more. And he knows, he said it on with Deuce and Mo. He said, if I'm going to play more, I gotta shoot better so I can stay on the floor. So he's highly motivated to do that. So I think you're exactly right.
And it's weird. He did shoot better last year. Now he shot almost half the attempts he'd shot the year before, but he jumped from 41 to 45% field goal. And if he gets the 40% three, I think he'll be, closer to 50% shooting from the field. And we always say, if you can go 50 from the field, 40 from three, and 90 from the line, but let's say he stays at 80. Ooh.
Yeah, but especially, you're right, but as well as he defends, if you can shoot the 3 ball at 40%, the way you guard, you're going to get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, no, if you can be that 3-and-D guy off the bench for the Kings, and what's nice about that is the more minutes he gets, that means the more you get to rest De'Aaron Fox's legs. And kind of going back to what we were talking about the segment before, now you might be able to see De'Aaron play both sides of the ball a little bit longer because his backup is letting him rest a lot longer on the bench.
It's possible that we get regression. I think, the math people would say, yeah, you think this team's going to be better, but this guy's going to regress, and there's just regression's going to happen. But if it doesn't, this team's going to be so much more deep than they were last year.
Right. And the roster is, just on paper deeper when you add guys like McGee, Duarte, Vezenkov. Yeah, but it's like I said, if we get Davion playing at that level and you got like 10 or 11 guys that you can rotate in at any given moment, I know the math guys are looking at regression, but I don't think the math guys are accounting for growth with certain players,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you remember last year who was starting? KZ Okpala.
Yeah.
Was starting.
Yeah.
Mike was trying to find some things.
Weird gimmick still to me, the whole KZ Okpala experience. Do you remember when the Kings started one year? I think it was the 09-10 season. That first game they started Sean May and Desmond Mason. Like, what are we doing? Like, why? And then it's like they never played again after that. I feel like KZ Okpala was a weird little parallel to those old days.
I thought Desmond Mason was going to be really good. He was pretty good for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, great dunker.
Yeah, coming up next, as promised, we'll look at some these are always fun, right? some bad bowl predictions from the Kings past.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, next year, Whitey and Watkins, Jay Morris today, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At Bank of America, we learn what matters most by asking our customers one simple question. What would you like the power to do?
I'd like the power to worry less.
The power to make my parents comfortable.
The power to...
Agree on a monthly budget?
Oh, hey, that'd be nice.
No matter what your financial goal is, we're here to help. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Get ready for a night with Cole Swindell. The 2023 ACM Song of the Year winner hits Heart Health Park at Cal Expo in Sacramento, Saturday, September 9th for the CITP2 Fest. And Cole's bringing some friends like Chris Chanson, Dylan Scott, Matt Stell, and more. Tickets start at $40 at CITPFest.com.
Gold Country Casino Resort Norville is proud to present one of the most powerful voices in country music.
Come on now, we're running out of moonlight.
Randy Houser live in concert on Saturday, September 23rd.
Let me show you how.
Country. Purchase your tickets now to see all of Randy Houser's greatest hits. Only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must 21 or older.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
The NFL is here, and it's all about the sweet offers from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SNAP to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code SNAP only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports Headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. As of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa-Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49ers insider Neil Fregosa's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a monster game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Your Sac State Hornets kick off the 2023 football season this Saturday, September 9th. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. Stingers up. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Can you believe it? We've got NFL football this week.
2 days away.
I mean, real, not the preseason. Real football, Jay Mars.
Thursday nights, the world champion Kansas City Chiefs, who might be without Travis Kelce, going up against the Lions. I think that's a fun matchup.
Goff and company. It's all Goff.
Yeah.
Great quarterback.
The elite quarterback that is Jared Goff.
Thank you, Chris Watkins.
I mean, listen, give the guy credit. He looked really good last year.
Yes.
That's all I got.
They looked really good.
Did they look really good or did they just look really better?
They finished strong.
They did.
Very strong.
Do you think they're an actual playoff contender this year?
Yeah, playoff contender. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You've bought into the Dan Campbell thing, the eating people's ankles and stuff?
To me, it's more in spite of that.
Oh, you haven't bought into Dan Campbell. Interesting, because I feel like everybody, granted, they've gotten better talent in Detroit, too, over the last year or so. But I feel like everybody's bought into this Dan Campbell mentality.
It seems like that, well, the team's playing hard for him, so I think maybe some of that's overstated and overblown, but I think the players relate to him. They trust him. So
right.
Playing, that's important.
And isn't that, as a head coach at this point, like, it's not so much about the X's and O's anymore. It's about, I have a philosophy. Do you guys buy in? And do we have a relationship? Because, a lot of it back in the day was you didn't speak with your head coach in the offseason. You didn't have a dialogue with head coach. It was see you when training camp starts and see you when training camp starts. But now it's like coaches, head coaches, managers in baseball. It's a 12-month job where you're almost a psychologist now for the players. And I feel like Campbell has gotten that trust, kind of what you're alluding to with the Lions players.
I think probably one of the biggest changes in the last, 20 years, whatever, managing, coaching, is that there are times when the player gets to do what he wants to do. I mean, if he's that big of a star, like certain pitchers in certain situations, they're not, you can't take them out of the game if they don't want to come out, right? And certain guys, you sign them that he's going to play that position. Well, no, he's better at the other position. Yeah, but we couldn't have signed him if we didn't kind of, let him know he's going to get to play that position.
Make it work.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Depending on who the coach is and who the player is. By the way, Peter King, we mentioned him earlier. He says the 49ers are going to finish with the best record in the NFC, but then lose to the Cowboys in the divisional round. Here's his NFC playoff teams. You just asked me if I have the Lions as a playoff team. So he's got the 49ers then in order: Eagles, Lions, Falcons, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Packers.
Falcons winning a pretty crappy division there. Lions getting the 3 seed, though, meaning they will win that division. It's such a weird division to predict because we don't know what the Jordan Love situation is going to look like, right? Like that's a coin flip. I think Minnesota regresses. I think there was a lot more luck than actual on-field goodness for them last year.
Fraud squad.
Are you bought in on the Justin Fields hype? A lot of hype about Justin Fields that this is going to be the year he breaks through.
I just think he's always going to have some question marks as an NFL caliber passer.
Yeah, no, and I agree.
But, I mean, you could certainly do a lot worse than him as your quarterback.
Oh, for sure. I'm just not bought in on the hype of him being like this dark horse MVP candidate in year 3. Yeah, I kind of buy the Lions as the best team in that division right now. Right now. And then whoever, and I really can't land on a number 2. I guess the Vikings just by default, but I don't feel good about that.
Justin Jefferson is up.
He's all world.
He's so good, and I don't believe this, but in my heart, I want to believe that he's good enough for that team to finish second in the division.
Just because Kirk Cousins is just good enough to get him the ball, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was that catch in the Buffalo game where it almost literally was, I'm going to throw it in your area, okay, and you catch it. It was one of the greatest catches.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It could have been the greatest catch ever.
Yeah.
He's capable of doing that.
Yeah, no, again, he's just such a...
And I bought into them, Jay. You were talking about how they were frauds. That game, I thought, man, to win that game with everything they went through in Buffalo, I think they're for real. They were not.
You know what's funny about that? You say you bought in, because I kind of bought into, because I'm like, okay, they're doing it enough, right? Like, this isn't just 2-3 game fluky things. Like, they keep winning these close games. Like, you don't do that if you suck. And you know who was like the one just like completely wet blanketing them the entire season? And I'm looking at him like, dude, you're just a negative fan. Mr. Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who was right?
Mr.
Watkins.
We were talking about Kings predictions. I just wanted to share this. This is interesting because I saw this yesterday online as I was looking for information here to share in our Kings Bowl predictions. And it ran across these predictions from September of 2016. And this was, I think, CBS.com.
Oh, I thought these were your bold predictions.
No, I wouldn't be sharing those with you if they were wrong. What's interesting is there's no byline. No, I don't know who wrote these.
Whoever wrote them found
that's by design
and deleted the byline, right?
So just real quick, what do you think of these? Number 5. So this is for the 2016-17 Kings. Isaiah Cousins starts 30 or more games.
Ooh. Wait, did they think that DeMarcus changed his name to Isaiah?
That's what I was wondering. Wait, are we talking about 2 different players?
I think Isaiah Cousins ever played a game.
And he said, whoever wrote it says, let's be honest, this prediction isn't that bold. Really? Okay.
Really?
Number 4, Ben McLemore nearly makes the All-Star team.
Well, he was in All-Star Saturday that year in the dunk contest. Does that count?
Number 3, the Kings will make the playoffs with the 7th seed. Number 2, the Kings trade for cup holders at the trade deadline. And Dave Yeager, number 1, Dave Yeager wins Coach of the Year. So, again, I don't know who wrote that. Those are bold, but it's just, again, as a reminder of how much better things are for Kings fans right now than they've been at any point since the early 2000s.
Also a reminder, don't intoxicate yourself before putting out an article. Like, I mean, listen, I'm like any other person, especially during that time, you really try to talk yourself into positives, right? And I wanted to make sure. Isaiah Cousins has never played an NBA game, okay? They had him starting 30 games. He's never appeared.
And then said, that's not really a
The Kings waived him before the season started. That's not really a bold prediction. No, I don't know what kind of prediction you call that. But yeah, that's fascinating.
Again, like I said, there's no byline. I don't know who wrote it.
Again, I think the person probably 5 games into the season went in and deleted the byline.
Yeah, had that
probably
scrubbed.
tried to. Yeah, wow. That's the year, and that's the year they traded Cousins at the deadline. By the way, That's the first year of Golden One Center. That's
almost looks like somebody at the radio station could have written it, then they picked it up on the CBS.
That might have been a thing.
The local thing. I don't know.
Okay. We all know who wrote it, right? Say the name on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Carmichael Dave.
Just a guess. Maybe not.
Dave sounds like the guy that'd be like, Isaiah Cousins 30 game, not a bold prediction. Yeager, Coach of the Year, King 7 seed, Golden One Center. The Arco curse is gone.
Hey, Dave, does this look familiar to you? I think I found something that might have been yours.
Hey.
On the YouTube chat, Russell says the Kings picked up so many big men this offseason, clearly giving themselves options and have a goal for the backup role in mind. Some of this, I think, was they wouldn't have picked up some of the guys they did if they knew that they were going to be able to get Javale McGee, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's a thing, because remember, Javale McGee had to be released by Dallas when they signed Noel, Keita, all of the stuff. He was still under contract. I think Javale kind of fell into their lap, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, obviously somebody comes to camp, they wow you. Whoa, they can change minds. But I don't think Keita is really part of the plans for the big club this year.
I think maybe they're kind of hoping he takes that third two-way deal and spends another year in Stockton, and then, hey, let's try this again next year. Because just watching him in Summer League, it still seemed like
he got hurt.
He got hurt, but also watching him in California Classic and in, the Vegas Summer League, it still looks like the game was moving a little too fast for him. And I know he was second in G League MVP voting, but that doesn't matter, right? Like, we don't take that seriously.
It's nice, but it's not something that necessarily means you're going to be.
It doesn't translate to you're going to be on the big roster next year, in my opinion. I mean, if you go through the G League and then once upon a time it was called the D League, go through the list of MVPs and see how many of those guys have been even good role players in the NBA.
By the way, that was a good decision, wasn't it, to change the name of the D League to the G League?
I like that a lot, the Gatorade League.
Yeah, D League. Whoa.
Developmental, Whitey. What were you thinking?
Yeah, we've been, for the most part, getting along here. I hate to do this, but it's time for the Factor Fantasy Showdown.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
you may think you're ready, but are you ready?
I don't know if you saw during the break. I took the gloves off.
I didn't even know you brought gloves in.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. All right. Well, coming up, the 49er with the most pressure on him this season. We'll find out who that is as Jay and I go head to head. Jay, I'm sorry. Jay Mars. Yeah,
that's me.
In the Factor Fantasy Showdown. Next, right here, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heating and Air. It's the end of summer blowout on all their systems. Right now, $2,500 off full systems, as low as $34 a week. And now American Energy Heating and Air offering a free Wi-Fi smart thermostat of your choice on high-efficiency units. Look, the uncomfortable becomes comfortable with American Energy Heating and Air. They've been around since 1981, making the greater Sacramento area proud with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And as always, their goal is to exceed your expectations, exceed them of the heating and air industry, valuing the customer experience and making your home comfortable. It's that simple. Go to American Energy Heating and Air and get yourself a free Wi-Fi smart thermostat of your choice on high-efficiency units.
Call 916-520-9999 now.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Listen to Oakland A's baseball on the weekends all season long right here on Sactown Sports, beginning with the pregame show brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins.
On Sactown Sports.
Heading for a showdown. Buddy Gleason and J. Mars in for Chris Watkins today. Chris will be along. Chris is on with who today now?
Chris is on with Gary Sharp.
Gary Sharp and Chris Watkins at 2 o'clock. It's time for the Factor Fantasy Showdown. All rise for the judge for today, the Honorable Judge Verlaud, who was not present on Friday. And Judge Nicole did an outstanding job in your absence, sir.
Judge Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard about Judge Nicole. You may be seated, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I think Simone would have done a better job.
Anyway.
All right. So who?
Am I allowed to wear this in court today, Your Honor?
Did you win last week?
I did, sir.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So since you were the winner, we'll start with you.
Okay.
The NFL quarterback with the most pressure on him this season is Mac Jones. Fact or fantasy?
That is fantasy, Your Honor. The quarterback with the most pressure on him this season is Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys don't win this year, if they don't win a Super Bowl, it may be time for Jerry Jones to move on from Dak Prescott. And it's pretty clear that Jerry Jones is intending to put at least some measure of pressure on Dak Prescott by bringing in Trey Lance. I don't know if Dak's feeling that pressure, but that's the intent. Dak has had a long run with the Cowboys. It's time for him to win something. And if he doesn't this year, the Cowboys may move on. So he's the one dealing with the most pressure in the NFL this season.
The NFL QB with the most pressure on him this season is Mac Jones. That is fantasy.
Can I just say, by the way, excellent the way you picked that right up. And
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. But
Yes.
but the thing is, Whitey, it's not Dakota. It's a guy by the name of Jordan Love in Green Bay. Now, you may be familiar with Jordan Love. This is the guy that the Packers took in the first round, 3 years ago, and sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Meanwhile, they could have used that pick on a player or packaged it to get Aaron Rodgers more help, a guy that was in MVP caliber mode for those 2 seasons that Jordan Love was behind him, those first 2 seasons, obviously not last year. But instead, they decided to get Jordan Love. They sit him for 3 years. Now, he's going into year 4 in his contract. Obviously, if you're taking this guy in the first round and you're sitting him for 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers, you're going to sign him to an extension because you believe in him, right? No. Not only did they not sign him to an extension, they don't even exercise his 5th-year option. So Jordan Love goes into this season, essentially his rookie season. I think he's played a total of 10 games, started 1, and he has to be great or he doesn't have a contract next year and he's an NFL free agent and likely nobody's going to pick him up as a starter. If Jordan Love doesn't produce this season, he's basically screwed. His NFL career is likely done. He might be a backup or a third string guy somewhere else. Jordan Love has to perform this year or else he has the most pressure of any quarterback in the NFL.
I don't want to say that answer was long, but Sharp and Watkins are next on Sactown.
Wow.
That was uncalled for in this courtroom, Whitey. But you do get the point.
What?
Mars, I think you gave a pretty good argument on why there's absolutely no pressure on Love right now. No one's expecting him to do anything. And then, of course,
Really?
if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're always expected to win, even though they have a history of not winning. So, point goes to you.
I was just kidding.
I wasn't.
All right, you're up, Jay Mars.
Jay, the 49er with the most pressure on him this season is Brock Purdy.
That's
fact or fantasy?
Oh, that's a fact.
That's the fact, Jack.
There's nobody on this team that has had a microscope on them quite like Brock Purdy. Everybody is looking at him to fail. We talked about Peter King earlier this show, 13-4, but they'll lose to the Cowboys. If that were going to be a thing, guess what the narrative is going to be? Brock Purdy, not the guy to get them to the promised land. What was it? He's ranked 32nd by The Athletic. They're the only ones saying, oh, there's no pressure on this kid. He sucks. But everybody else is going to look at it if the 49er season is a failure, which, by the way, a failure means not winning the Super Bowl. All eyes will be on Brock Purdy. It won't matter what happens on the defensive side of the ball. It won't matter what happens on injuries. He will be blamed for everything. It's a fact. Most pressure.
49er with the most pressure on him this season is Brock Purdy. That is a fantasy. Every quarterback on every good team faces some pressure, but the fact that Kyle Shanahan has already declared Brock Purdy is the real deal means that as far as Kyle is concerned, there isn't pressure on Brock Purdy. Brock's under a microscope. That's nothing compared to the proctoscope that the 49ers will have in place for Colton McKivitz, the right tackle. He's the one facing the most pressure. Not only pressure in terms of you better do your job or we'll move on from you, but pressure from opposing pass rushers because he'll be seen as the weak link with Trent Williams on the other side. So Colt McKivitz will face pass rush pressure. He will face pressure from the team and from fans who are already wondering about this 49er offensive line and its depth. Colton McKivitz is the 49er under the most pressure this year. We'll see how he responds.
Woody, that's very good. I didn't even consider that because guards really aren't sexy to talk about on the air. So, Jay, you get the point.
Thank you.
Of course it's on Brock Purdy. Every loss is going to be on Brock Purdy this season.
Colt McKivitz is a tackle, not a guard, if it please.
I'm sorry, what?
It'll be Brock Purdy's fault when Colt McKivitz lets someone get through on the edge to tackle
Exactly.
Brock Purdy.
So we're tied up, eh?
Yeah.
All tied up. Yes, tied up. Whitey.
Yes, sir.
The Nick Bosa holdout is now officially a problem for the 49ers. Fact or fantasy?
That is a fact.
That's the fact, Jack.
I here before the court admit that I have been guilty. Guilty of buying in to the narrative that Kyle Shanahan is putting forth that we'll take care of it. We're going to, you know what? Nick's going to be here. It's not a problem. Well, it is a problem now because you are in very real danger of having Nick Bosa miss the first game of the season. The 49ers are expected to be, by people like Peter King, the best team in the NFC this year. But every game vitally important. Last year, a slow start cost the 49ers home field in the playoffs, one of the reasons they were eliminated. Nick Bosa may not be there for the first game. Who knows? If he misses the first game, will he miss more games? If he does, the 49ers are in big trouble because he is the single most important player on the team. The fact that we're days away from the opener and he still is not in camp, or excuse me, is not with the team, that is officially a big problem for the Niners.
The Nick Bosa holdout is now officially a problem for the 49ers. That is a fantasy. Here's the thing with this holdout. The 49ers have zero leverage. The 49ers at some point are going to have to cave this week. What does that mean? Oh, well, he hasn't been in camp. He can't play in week 1, can he? No, he can. Let's remember, I believe TJ Watt in Pittsburgh signed his contract with the Steelers. I think it was 2 games before their 2021 season opener, had held out in camp, right? And they actually played him after signing just 2 days.
2 days.
And we think Nick Bosa is a better player. This is what TJ Watt did. He played in 81% of the team's snaps in week 1, registering 2 sacks and 5 quarterback hits in the Steelers' 23-16 victory. It doesn't matter. Once he signs this week, he will be in the starting lineup, and he will do very much like TJ Watt did. This is a guy that stays in notoriously good shape in the offseason. Nobody should panic. He'll sign this week, and he'll be great in week 1.
That is a very good point, but I don't know how to judge it, seeing as you're judging it based off of what the future is going to happen, and we don't know if he's going to sign this week. So, Whitey, I think you're right. I think this is a problem for the 49ers. So you get the point, but this is strange. We have plenty of time left for a rare 4th question.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
So the question for you, Whitey, and remember that the 4th question is always worth 4 points.
Of course. I'm not an idiot. I know that.
The Giants need to be all in next year on free agent Cody Bellinger. Fact or fantasy?
That is a fantasy. And I'll tell you why. 2019 Cody Bellinger was, as a Dodger fan in the room knows all too well, he was phenomenal. 47 home runs. He was incredible. He hit 41 homers combined over the next 3 seasons as he really fell off, and he injured his shoulder, like high-fiving someone in the World Series. Whatever, it's so Dodger-like. But here's the thing, having a great year this year for the Cubs, but he's doing that in a free agent year where he's going to be a free agent, so he's trying to prove his value. And you can't assume he's going to be worth the money. He's been so bad the 3 previous years that it's too risky to assume this is the real Cody Bellinger. So the Giants need to be all in on Ohtani, all in on Bellinger. No, that would not be prudent.
It's a fact, sir, that the Giants need to be all in on Cody Bellinger. Here is why. You've had an outfield that has suffered and struggled through injuries this year. Yes, you bring up Cody Bellinger and the shoulder that had plagued him for a couple years. He's clearly gotten over it. You see it with the numbers that he's put up in Chicago this year. It's a guy that is back into all-star form, 23 home runs, 84 RBIs. He's hitting 320. And by the way, he's a Golden Glove outfielder. This is definitely someone that they need to be all in on because this team just needs talent. This team lacks so much talent that if there is a guy out there that hits over 300, hits for power, and oh, by the way, is a Gold Glover, there's no way you can't be all in, especially because the Giants have been bridesmaids on literally any free agent that actually has a pulse. Yes, all in, they have to sign Cody Bellinger.
That is a fantastic point, Jay. Unfortunately, as we all know, this courtroom is an anti-Dodger courtroom. So, Whitey, you get the point and the win in a complete blowout.
Wow.
6-1.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am appealing, and we're taking this all the way up to the Sactown Sports Supreme Court.
I think that's her.
I mean, like,
I think
No.
Simone's the Supreme Court.
No, she's not.
She seemed to enjoy that quite a bit when
Nicole is the Supreme Court.
What? No, Simone's the Supreme Court around here.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Jay. I thought you battled quite well.
Yeah.
You did.
It's easy to win
Well
when you're in a
played.
biased courtroom, isn't it?
Well played indeed. Coming up next here, you alluded to it. Are there really 31 quarterbacks better than Brock Purdy? Tell you who thinks that's the case and try to figure out why next year. Whitey Watkins, J-Mar's in today on Sactown Sports.
The first ever NBA in-season tournament schedule is out, and our Kings have some great matchups, including national TV games against the Spurs and Warriors.
And Sacramento has won. They have risen to the occasion. And let me tell you, if you can't sense it, this place is absolutely nuts.
Listen to every game on the home of the Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's Recyclable Coffee Cup Factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's got to be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Whether you're shopping for your favorite Honda online or in person, you'll see why Stockton Honda is the #1 Honda dealer in Northern California, and why buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Visit in person or online at StocktonHonda.com, where your favorite Honda is ready for you.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, the search for pain relief can feel like an endless and hopeless ordeal.
I would try drugstore, insoles and supports.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked.
If you think you've tried everything to relieve your foot pain, you probably haven't tried arch supports from the Good Feet store.
And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I don't have foot pain anymore. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. It changed my life.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Come in now for a free arch support fitting and test walk.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL season and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And as of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49er insider Emil Fragoso's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 163 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Your Sacramento State Hornets kick off the 2023 football season this Saturday, September 9th. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. Stingers up. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Thanks, Chris Verlad. Question for you, J. Mars. I'm part German.
Okay, same.
If USA plays Germany, and I also like Franz Wagner, because I was in the Bay Area and I was telling people on the radio, I said, they should draft him instead of Kuminga. And a lot of people said, you don't know anything. And Franz Wagner's really good.
And Kuminga's kind of not.
He's not yet. He's my wife's favorite player, so I got to be careful what I say. Ooh. But if USA plays Germany, and if I root for Germany, am I a bad person?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't say I was going to. I just asked the question.
Yeah.
Why?
It's Germany. Like, there's so many other teams to root for.
There aren't that many left.
I know, but
who would he root for?
Oh, you could root for any. Like, you're not just all German. What else are you mixed with?
Slovakian.
Well, just say it's Slovenian and root for them.
They're different countries.
I know that, but most people don't.
That would be worse.
Yeah, I'm part Irish, and I don't think they're doing real well in the FIBA World Cup of basketball.
The Dublin Pro League is just not what it used to be. Okay.
And Sweden also is not.
As someone that has to root for teams when the U.S. doesn't advance far in the World Cup, I will allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, I should have asked him.
Okay, but they're playing the U.S. in the World Cup,
and that would be that's one of those games where the loser's out, huh?
Yeah, no, this is semis. Yeah, no,
but it may not even.
Well, loser goes on to play for the Great Bronze Medal.
Oh, great. Yeah, Germany may not even win because Germany Latvia? Is that what we said?
I think so.
Yeah. So we still have Halliburton, former King, still playing Halliburton, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, right?
Yes, and Luka, kind of.
Well, nice try.
Still, in some fans' minds, could have been a king.
Yeah,
thank God.
I think that was one of the beautiful things about last year's. Maybe that's true, but it didn't matter.
Right. Is it like last year was like the first sign that people were able to get over that pick, unless you're Chris, who from the beginning knew it was bad because Luke was fat. But I think most fans finally had like an Excel. It's like, oh, we're better than the Mavericks.
You know,
what? Vladdy might have been right with the whole De'Aaron Fox thing.
Yep. The judge and I kind of share. I don't go for the body shaming.
Of course, the judge and you share.
We're not a big fan of the body shaming, but I'm not a Luka guy.
No.
Okay,
but does the I know we're not body shaming, but does the perhaps lack of keeping body to NBA star levels play into that at all?
Well, it wouldn't if it wasn't for the fact that after they lost to the Warriors, his coach was saying, "See that? I mean, their guy keeps in shape." So if the coach is mentioning it, then yeah, it's something that causes you to wonder.
Luka
also his pouting doesn't help as well.
Yeah, he is a powder.
True. Oh yeah.
And there's something about
he asked a referee once, "Why do you hate me?" Can you imagine if we asked the judge that in Factor Fantasy? Why do you hate me? He'd throw us right out.
And I'm going to be 100% honest. I was getting close to asking that there towards the end. I felt hated.
You won the last time.
Yeah, but not this time.
And when Luka asked that female referee, and I forget what her name is, I apologize. Did you see that foul? She goes, "What foul?" "When I fell in love with you." He should have been ejected.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was bad.
Like, yeah. No, you gotta. Hey, go on.
Yeah, unprofessional, unsportsmanlike conduct right then and there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a Luka guy either. Do you? Carmichael Dave has labeled him this. I'll see if you buy this. Is he Euro James Harden?
I'm reluctant to agree with anything Dave says about basketball, but I think that's right on the money.
I know. It's like
exactly what he is.
Yeah. He's not as toxic as Harden yet. Because I think James Harden is like right up there, like top tier toxic. But I don't think Luka is going to be too far behind him in the next few years.
The only thing, though, when I talked to Jerry Reynolds, and Jerry says, I think he said something like, Luka's about the closest guy he's seen to Oscar Robertson in a long time. And then I have to go, wow, he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Well, he means basketballically speaking, right? Not
basketballically,
attitude.
yes, great word.
Amazing
word.
Yeah, basketballically speaking, I get it, but attitude and just overall demeanor as a human being, I think he's pretty far from Oscar Robertson.
If you ever do a podcast, please call it basketballically speaking.
Yes, and I will. Basketballically speaking.
Yes, please. We're brought to you by Flying U Rodeo, providing quality family entertainment for more than 60 years. What is this blasphemy? NFL rankings of quarterbacks from The Ringer. I know we touched on this earlier, but we need to take another look at the fact that in The Ringer's quarterback rankings, Brock Purdy, quarterback of the 49ers, is ranked number 32. Ahead of only Sam Howell and Joshua Dobbs.
By the way, I think Commander Fan would throw a fit at Purdy being ranked above Howell. Like, Commander Fan is really in on Sam Howell.
We have a
year.
Commander Fan quite often in the chat.
He's got mad at me for saying Purdy would be better than Howell this year. Like, Charlie is a big Sam Howell guy. Here's the craziest part about that, though. What is it that he's ranked 32, or that I believe it's 21 spots higher than him is Tom Brady.
Right.
Who's not playing this year.
And I'm a Jimmy guy for the most part, but Jimmy Garoppolo is 22. How is Jimmy that far ahead of Brock Purdy? I mean, if you're going to say, you know what, and I think this is what everyone in the Athletic, they have their quarterback tiers and they talk to people who do this for a living. And for the most part, the consensus was Brock Purdy played well last year, but we haven't seen enough. I mean, that's hard to argue with. If you're going to say that, okay. But if you're just going to list him behind all the CJ Stroud, he hasn't done anything.
I feel like, did he get 5 starts at the end of the season plus 2 starts and the Eagles game, if you want to count that? I feel like that's a pretty decent sample size. And again, had the Niners sucked and they just threw him out there and he did well, I would get that argument. But when you go in and you win 2 playoff games, and you didn't lose in the games you started in the regular season on a good team, I feel like that's a lot bigger of a sample size than people are giving him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part I have trouble with the whole, well, we haven't seen him do it argument yet. No, you've seen a pretty decent, again, winning 2 playoff games, that to me, like, it doubles up what he did in the regular season. I don't really buy the we haven't seen it yet argument. I just don't think that. I think that's a lazy argument at this point. I think it's lazy because all it's doing is just playing into the idea that this guy was the last pick of the draft. And I will say this until I am blue in the face. If he was a 3rd round pick and did that last year, we would magically have seen enough for him to be the starter.
Have you heard the story? And I can't remember now where I read this. Kyle Shanahan talking about the Seattle game last year up there and how he learned then that was when he felt like, okay, this is our guy.
Yeah, the ribs, trust. Right?
Yeah, because right before the game started, Brock Purdy couldn't throw. He was not able to throw because he had broken ribs, which he'd broken against Tampa Bay and didn't even know he did it until after the game. So he's like, he couldn't go. He couldn't throw. Kyle Shanahan literally was changing his plays for Josh Johnson. Because, they script the first 15 plays. So he was changing them up. And Brian Greasy, who has been through that type of thing, he told Shanahan, let's give him another shot. He says he might want to be able to give it a shot. And Kyle's like, we can't. But Greasy said, no, give him another shot. And so Brock Purdy goes out there and he starts, so I guess he took a shot, pain shot, and he was able to throw a little bit. So he started the game. When they didn't know, they literally didn't know if he could play. Then he had that key first down where he has to run, slide, and pick up the first down. And Shanahan's story is at that point, we felt like, okay, this is a guy we can trust because he had every reason not to play.
And so 2 things that also add context to that. That's in Seattle in a game where you're looking to clinch the division. He did that in, again, one of the hardest places to play in the NFL with broken ribs to clinch a division. That already should tell you a lot.
I can't imagine how hard it is to be a quarterback and do the silent count.
Oh my gosh.
Or a lineman, especially a lineman.
No, it's so difficult. And then when you get that, and remember, this is coming off of a team that's dealt with Jimmy Garoppolo injuries, and Jimmy, and I'm not saying Jimmy's not tough. Jimmy did play through some stuff as well, but that had to seep in as well. It's like, all right, even if this guy's hurt, we can rely on him. That was the thing with Jimmy that a lot of people didn't really talk about. It was very unreliable when it came to injuries. He just always got hurt.
I think that's the number one reason Shanahan decided we can't trust him. It just happens too often.
Yeah,
it wasn't the ball security was an issue, but I think ultimately it came down to that. It's like the guy gets hurt too much.
Right, and he did. He got hurt a lot. I mean, he missed large chunks of seasons.
He, to his credit, would play through those injuries when he could, but still, he was just unavailable for too often.
And then you factor in, listen, I thought, and Jimmy, I thought actually played well last year. I thought that was one of his better stints with the 49ers was last year. I thought Brock Purdy played better. And so now I got this kid who's playing better that, cost us nothing. Brock Purdy's not even making $1 million this year to be a starting quarterback in the NFL on a team with Super Bowl contention. And now it's like you got probably, especially with John Lynch, all these thoughts going through my head like, God, if the quarterback position is one of the least paid positions on our team, look what else we can do. What kind of a roster can we build out if we got a starting caliber quarterback at next to nothing?
However, as you know, because you were sitting here talking to Chris Beiderman as I was, Candlestick Chronicles, Chris Beiderman today, and he says one of the things that goes into figuring out how much to give Bosa is that at some point you do have to pay if things continue to go as well as you hope they do Brock Purdy a lot of money. Not yet, but that bill is coming.
Or do you? Or just throwing this out there.
He's the real deal. Your coach already declared him the real deal.
I'm not saying he's not, but I also know my head coach and my GM kind of in the same way are very arrogant when it comes to the quarterback position. Does it go to the fact that they're going to look at Brock Purdy and be like, hey, you're doing all of this because of us? Kyle Shanahan really believes in what he does. And you know what? I can go find another quarterback in the draft, which we already know that was a thought process with Trey Lance and the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing, right?
You think that Brock is going to get Shanatized, where at some point he'll make a mistake, and then Kyle will, he's another one of those guys.
I'm not even saying
that. Now I got to find
that.
another one.
I'm not even saying that. Or are the 49ers, and again, I know it sounds crazy, but the way Kyle believes in what he does, are they going to treat the quarterback position a la the running back position? Let's just find a new one in the draft every few years so we can keep costs down?
I don't think so. Based on what he said, I think he's been looking for the guy. I don't think he's been thinking these are interchangeable parts. He talked about how in the loss to the Falcons in the Super Bowl, the loss to the Patriots, he was offensive coordinator for the Falcons. He said he learned then the importance of having a guy at quarterback.
Wow, that's shade at Matt Ryan.
That's what I thought.
Matt Ryan's a former MVP.
That's kind of what I thought.
didn't think Matt Ryan sucked.
So I think if Brock Purdy plays well, I don't think Kyle will want to move off of him. And if Kyle doesn't want to move off of him, then they ain't moving off of him because Kyle's still the one calling the shots.
Yeah, although you could argue that he wasn't the one calling the shots when they drafted Trey Lance. So maybe is this Kyle proving himself? Letting them know, the front office, like, dude, when I say this is the quarterback for my system, believe me.
I think what happened there is that he initially wanted Mac Jones. Some people talked him into, hey, you got to, come on, Kyle, you got to look at this guy, Trey Lance. And I think somebody talked Kyle Shanahan into that. And seriously, but I also will give him credit because at no point has he ever indicated, well, he was never my guy. He's owned up to that. But I think you're right. I think he got talked into it. And I think after a while he realized, yeah, I never should have picked that guy.
Right.
But if Kyle didn't want to pick him, they weren't going to pick him.
And if Kyle is the one responsible for Purdy, oh my gosh, then he'll never listen to anybody else again when it comes to picking a quarterback, right?
That's true. Coming up next, 49er defenders brace for GWB. Games without Bosa.
Oh.
I thought that was Trubisky's nickname.
GWB.
No.
Oh yeah, no. It's also Trubisky. Games without Bosa and Trubisky, kind of the same thing, right?
Right. Sure. Whitey and Watkins here. Jay Margin today. Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Fortinet Championship returns to Silverado Resort September 14th through the 17th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With wine experiences, rockin' shows, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Fortinet Championship, September 14th through the 17th. For tickets, go to FortinetChampionship.com.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
And don't worry about Chris Watkins. He'll be along at 2 today. And it is Sharp and Watkins.
Or is it Watkins and Sharp?
Sharp and Waddy.
Waddy
what
and
I've been
Sharp?
trying to call it, but
No.
it's not catching on.
Sharpie and Waddy?
No, it's not working.
Okay.
What do you got?
What a wet blanket this guy is.
What do you got for me from the great Kendrick Perkins?
Noted Kings fan, Kendrick Perkins. Big believer in the Sacramento Kings last year. He's put out his 5 biggest stars in FIBA right now. Okay? I didn't know that was a thing.
I have
But it's
a
a
question.
thing.
What
Yeah.
is the purpose of that?
They need content. They being ESPN.
Can anybody just look at the rosters and do that for themselves?
Or can they? Can I give you his top 5?
Okay.
Number 1, Anthony Edwards. Biggest star in FIBA right now is Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Number 2, Luka Doncic. I feel like those two should be flipped, but that's
I
just
don't
me.
like Luka, but I agree with you.
Number 3, this is where things get fun. Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
All right.
Biggest star in the third biggest star in FIBA right now is Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
I think he's the best player on Jordan.
Okay, that's a fair statement. Number 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll buy that for the Canucks.
Uh-huh.
Number 5, Dennis Schroeder
Okay.
for your Germany.
I'm sure somebody told Big Perk, hey, we need this list and put something in there to get people agitated, right?
Right.
Is
I
that-
feel like Austin Reeves is a bigger star than Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Austin Reeves is he's a nauseatingly big star.
Yeah. Are you over Austin Reeves? Like the whole Austin Reeves?
Not him, but just all the mania.
Yeah.
Just think of, I don't know what he wants to do, but I was thinking if he ever wanted to be an analyst when he's done playing, he could write his own ticket, right?
Yes. He's Austin Reeves.
Yes.
And I always say this, if Austin Reeves is not a Laker and doesn't have LeBron constantly posting about him, he's just like, he's a guy, a good, solid role player. Like if he's in Washington, it's like, Austin Reeves is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's an actual star because of the Laker LeBron aura.
Yeah. I mean, I give him credit and I admire the fact that he's become what he's become from where he started, but a lot of that has to do with the Laker mania, and that's the part that makes me queasy.
You know who was that same player when he was a Laker, and he's gone on to actually, I think, be better since leaving the Lakers, but you don't hear about him the same way now, is Alex Caruso. Caruso has the same thing. When Caruso was a Laker, he was a household name. I think he's been a better player in Chicago, but we don't talk about him as much anymore.
I remember seeing him probably here in Summer League. It's like, well, that poor guy, he's never going to be in the NBA. And
yeah, he's in the NBA. He's like
really good defender.
You talked about, the Kings finding guys to defend. I would have loved Alex Caruso, Sacramento King.
Yeah. I like Austin Reeves, but I just don't like all the surrounding hoopla.
You don't like superstar Austin Reeves.
I have Austin Reeves fatigue, and it's not really his fault, but I got it.
Yeah, I think everybody does, except Laker fans. He's the new god there.
And I do like him and Halliburton together. I got to admit, I like watching those guys play off the bench for Team USA, except when they are playing Germany.
Yes, your squad.
I never said that I was rooting for Germany. I asked a theoretical question.
Your theoretical question had implications that you wanted to bust out that Dirk Nowitzki German national team jersey sitting in your.
I will say this.
Yes.
You can't root for. I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's okay to be neutral during that game, and you could go 100% full board for Germany if they beat USA.
Okay, but I can't be 100% full board Germany during the USA.
You have to be neutral.
Okay.
You can actually just cheer on every good play.
You hope both teams try hard and have fun.
Have you ever watched a game where you wanted to root for one team or you thought you're rooting for one team and then you find kind of like, hey, I'm actually rooting for the other team?
Yeah.
Yes. Weird how that happens?
Yeah, that happened quite a bit actually last year in the Warriors-Lakers series. I think it was really hard to find one to root for, and I found myself rooting for one. I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Huh.
This is gross.
Yeah. You realize I wanted that shot to go in.
Yes.
Why did I want that? Here's what the 49ers want. They want management and Nick Bosa to figure this thing out. But they realize that it may not happen in time for Sunday's game against the Steelers. Talanoa Hufanga acknowledging the team is better off with Bosa, but he says he's not here. So, quote, for us, we just got to play with who we got. We would love to have Bosa. I think that's a no-brainer. Best defensive player in the NFL. It shows for us, we've just got to prepare as if he's not going to be here. That's an upper echelon question. That's a front office question. And so for me, I don't know if I can answer anything else on that. But once he's here, we'd love to have him. So it's gotten to that point.
By the way, great answer. Great answer to a tough question. Yeah, you're significantly worse without Bosa. Fact, right?
Yeah.
But so what's the option in between then? Do you start Cleveland Farrell, who was a bust out of Las Vegas? I think we know Drake Jackson's going to definitely be on the left side. Here's another thing I thought. I wonder if they'll try this. There's been talk that Javon Kinlaw has looked way better in training camp and that, they want to get him some reps this year. He's finally healthy. Let's say Bosa doesn't play in week 1. Do you start Kinlaw and move Armstead back to defensive end where they had him playing for a little bit over a guy like Cleveland Farrell?
I would consider that, but I don't think they'd do that.
You think they start Farrell?
Yeah. I mean, Drake Jackson's the one they want to be a star, but he hasn't.
He's had some moments in training camp, which, as we always know, translates at the full game. Always translates. Yeah, I think Drake Jackson has the potential.
I mean, he's your guy, and he had a good camp to get to the point where he's actually on the team here.
Yeah, I mean, there was the moment where he actually almost re-injured Brock Purdy, but when he got over that, I thought when that happened, I'm like, oh, he's done.
Oh, me too.
So, he's gone.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So yucks. Nah, it's just such a different because. Especially with Bosa, obviously the big thing is get pressure on the quarterback. Although when we had Chris Beiderman on, which you can find at Sactownsports.com, he had mentioned just how great he is when it comes to stopping the rush. The thing about
setting the edge,
setting the edge, doesn't get credit for that,
and he knows that, and they all know that. So why isn't he signed? He knows it. His agent knows it. I don't think Bosa should feel in any way, and obviously he doesn't. I don't think he should say, well, for the good of the team, I'll take less, right? It's football.
Are you definitely one of those get your money type guys?
Well,
I agree with you
sport.
In the NFL when, you're not playing for guaranteed money all the time. Get as much of it as you can.
Be selfish. Snap off the next game.
Be selfish.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 100% when it comes to football, be a selfish guy. And I think that's the route he's taking, and it's the correct one.
Yep.
And I think he's been advised to take that. He has a brother who's been through contract negotiations before. Don't think he hasn't relied on Joey Bosa to kind of help guide him through this along with his agent. And you brought it up, and Chris had brought it up. The guaranteed money is what is holding this up. And he probably wants a lot of it up front. And it's going to be interesting to see when I think eventually something happens, right? I don't think this whole thing falls through. Eventually somebody caves, and I think that somebody's the 49ers. The way this contract is going to be structured is going to be fascinating.
Mm-hmm. The fact that we now know a little bit about the amount that separates them, supposedly, we're getting a little bit from Ian Rappaport. That suggests that, okay, now some information is being leaked, presumably from Bosa's camp. It just suggests that people are getting, if not frustrated, getting to the point where now they now feel like, okay, we got to get this moving. So it's a true stalemate. It would appear to be a true, it's not like, oh, we'll get there. And that's kind of the way the 49ers were framing it.
Right.
We're figuring it out. We'll get there. We're working around the clock to bridge this difference. It doesn't look like they're making much progress on that bridge.
And that's the thing with that bridge. It's like, it's a pretty obvious bridge and how to build it. What hard work are you doing when it's really just, dude, lay it down and give the guy the money?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the bridge, right? There's no real incentive base. Like they can't throw in Taylor Swift tickets at the Levi Stadium the next time she's there as an incentive, right? It's literally money, guarantee it, pay the guy. That's the only bridge, Whitey, and they're going to have to cross it at some point.
Yep.
The 49ers are going to have to give him his money. They have no leverage.
I agree. And if that's the case, and I certainly looks that way, then they should have already done that. They should have already taken
That's the
care of it.
crazy thing to me, as I feel like they're going to cave, and it's like, you could have caved a month ago and this would all be gone. So you've basically dragged this out, and by dragging it out, you've hurt your team, right?
Mhm.
Not having him in camp, not having him preseason. You'd much rather have that happen, only to probably cave here sometime this week. It's just a masterclass of how not to negotiate with a star player.
Organizational arrogance.
Yes.
And it could bite them again. Coming up next, as a public service, I actually could use your help on this too. You ever watch football at home?
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Yeah. Okay. You know how when you go to a swimming pool, there's rules there?
Mhm.
We need to establish some of those. I like to do this every year for watching football at your house.
Oh.
And I've always wanted to assemble an actual board that you can take and put up in your house. Rules that those watching football in your house must obey. We'll put that list together next year. Whitey and Watkins with Jay Mars today, Sactown Sports.
The first ever NBA in-season tournament schedule is out, and our Kings have some great matchups, including national TV games against the Spurs and Warriors.
And Sacramento has won. They have risen to the occasion. And let me tell you, if you can't sense it, this place is absolutely nuts.
Listen to every game on the home of the Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The NFL is here, and it's all about the sweet offers from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SNAP to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code SNAP only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Get ready for a night with Cole Swindell. The 2023 ACM Song of the Year winner hits Heart Health Park at Cal Expo in Sacramento, Saturday, September 9th for the CITP2 Fest. And Cole's bringing some friends like Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, Matt Stell, and more. Tickets start at $40 at CITPFest.com.
Your 3-time defending Big Sky Conference champions, the Sacramento State Hornets, are back at Hornet Stadium this Saturday, September 9th. It's Kids Day with fun for the whole family. And stick around after the game with post-game fireworks. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. Don't miss any of the action this year as the Hornets swarm the Big Sky in search of a 4th straight Big Sky championship. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. That's hornetsports.com. Stingers up.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right,
Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. We are just 2 days away from the opening of the NFL and 5 days away from the Niners opening up the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. As of right now, the Niners have not come to an agreement with star defensive end Nick Bosa. For more on the Bosa-Niners negotiation, make sure to check out Sactown Sports 49er Insider, Emil Fergosa's report on SactownSports.com. On Sunday, Team USA had a shocking loss to Lithuania, but came back this morning to advance to the FIBA World Cup semifinals with a 100-63 win over Italy. Mikal Bridges led all scorers with 24 points, and former Sacramento King Tyrese Halliburton had a huge game with 18 points, shooting 6 of 8 from behind the arc, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. Team USA's next game will be on Friday when they take on the winner of Germany and Latvia. Your Sacramento State Hornets kick off the 2023 football season this Saturday, September 9th. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. Stingers up. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Unfortunate NBA news. The Kings may actually benefit from this, but it's still unfortunate news, obviously. Trey Murphy III suffered a left knee meniscus injury today. Further testing will determine whether he's going to need surgery.
Are we at a point, especially because they're in New Orleans, so voodoo? Are the Pelicans cursed, man? I mean, he was.
I'm not willing to go that far yet.
Really good
but
last year.
I think the skeleton key actually takes place in New Orleans.
There you go. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. Murphy, last year improved a lot. Injured the knee in a workout at the team's practice facility.
Yeah.
So, further evaluation will determine the recovery route. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. Trey Murphy III, Pelicans, injured today. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and dare I say, and I'm not trying to be funny here, it won't be the only knee injury to a significant Pelican we probably talk about this year. Yeah.
He averaged 14.5 points last year. And
I know, he was 40%. Really good. He was one of the bright spots on a team that, boy, did they start out hot last year, right? Like, they started out so good. Then Zion went down. And it just seems like when David Griffin took the helm there and he traded Anthony Davis for that haul from the Lakers, he drafted Zion. I mean, we were just praising David Griffin. Has not worked out.
No, well, but I think they're still in good shape. I mean, obviously his injury would hurt them if it's anything long-term. I think they've done a good job. Just the Zion thing is such a question mark hanging over their heads. And now Ingram, I don't know, Ingram has really played badly at the World Cup.
He's pouting. It's playing badly, and he's also pouting about not getting playing time. I don't even think he appeared today, and that was a blowout against Italy. I think he's found himself at the end of Steve Kerr's bench there.
The CJ McCollum trade really worked out for them.
Yeah, super good trade. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the team just feels kind of cursed.
They're a good team. They're still scary, but I'm more scared of the Thunder.
Oh, my gosh. Especially because you're looking, SGA is going to probably I imagine he's going to take another leap, a guy that was first-team All-NBA. I really like Josh Giddey's game.
Giddey, yeah.
And then who's the other one? Is Jalen Smith? That is really good. And then if Chet Holmgren is just lives up to any sort of the hype and can give you 65 plus games, that's the team I would be most scared of in the at the bottom end of the Western Conference.
And he's not as talented, but Lou Dort to me is a guy like he just wouldn't be fun to play against.
No,
he'd push you around and just give you
a hell of a defender.
Yeah, really hard to play against. He's not that good, but I don't know. I don't like playing against him.
He's not that good, but he's that guy that every single fan base would want on their roster, right? Everybody would want Lou Dort on their team.
Lou against Dort. Yeah, it's like, what? What'd you say?
First time I ever saw
his name?
I thought it was Lugnuts. Like, Lugnuts Dort, who's this?
But never mind that, because it's almost NFL football season. So what are some rules we could put in place here? Again, my dream is always to put together a board that we can make available to people. You can post it wherever you watch your game. So that people come in and they, like say, hey, what's the score? And you can just point, like, you're not allowed to ask the score,
right? Whatever
it is.
Is that so? This is for anybody coming into your home.
This post these so that, like at the pool rules.
Okay,
you want to watch a game here in my man cave or our house, and you must observe these rules.
And family has to also observe these.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
So if like your wife walks in and breaks the rule, she can't break the rule, right? Okay. I just want to make sure. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay. I like this. I like this a lot. Give me your first rule.
Well, I think you'd have to start with who's playing. It's an obvious one. Like, who's playing? You don't get to ask who's playing.
Yeah, that
because it's right. If you don't know, first of all, you should know. Second of all, you look, it's right there on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to determine that. Also, you could look it up before you go to someone's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm going over to Whitey's house today. Oh, this game's on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I already kind of know going in. I'm gonna be a good house guest, right? One for me: do not wear the opposing team.
All right.
You can wear your favorite team so long as they're not playing my team at that moment.
Yeah, and you would need some kind of waiver.
Correct.
Like if you were coming to my house and obviously you're a Patriots fan. I just want to.
How dare you?
Reaction.
You got one.
If
Congratulations.
You could only wear the Patriots gear if I said, if I signed off on it.
Right. Or mine was just the whole thing. Like, so for instance, I'm a Niners fan, right? And they're playing the Steelers this Sunday. There is no circumstance that you can wear a Steelers anything in my house during that day. You want to come in and wear your Raiders jersey because that's your team? Sure. That doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, you do not come in wearing the opposing team that week. That's just no.
I think this is a really good one. And if we'll see how you feel about it, that'll either confirm or show that, no, I'm wrong. But before I mention that, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, if you want to text us, or on the YouTube chat, if you have any ideas for this. This may be more than a one-day project. But here's the rule I'm thinking of. Nobody cares about your fantasy team.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so you may not comment on, I'm playing against him. Or, that's good for me. No.
I don't want to be watching the Niners game, and then out of the corner of the room, I hear, oh, man, so-and-so's going off for me today. I picked him in the 4th round, and there was a lot of people that didn't think that was a good pick.
That's
and they
automatic
thought
expulsion.
Get out of here.
We have the rule here. I'm sorry. And it's not me. I'm not doing it. You're the one that did it. You violated the rule.
Right.
So goodbye.
Nobody cares about your fantasy team. It should and that should be how you list it. Nobody in all caps cares about your fantasy team.
Especially if it's like your team, somebody scores, a touchdown against the 49ers or whatever. And then you got the guy, I needed that touchdown today. Nope. We don't need you. You may need that touchdown. We don't need you.
I have another one that I think is it's paramount. Do not ask me to turn on said game. You come over to my house, the game I have on is the game we are watching.
Wow. That's, I suppose we would for some people.
I hate that
and
person.
That's unthinkable that someone would do that, but you're right.
Hey, man.
You're right.
Hey, man, can you switch it over to Bucks and Dolphins? No, I can't.
Wait. Are you hosting without a red zone?
Oh, no.
TV?
If I have red zone on, that's what's on. But if the Niners are on, I'm watching the Niners.
Right.
But same thing with the red zone. Don't tell me to turn off red zone so that you can watch Patriots and Jets. And don't ever ask such a question. My TV, my channels.
That goes without saying.
No, you would think so.
I would have thought so, but as you say that, I'm reeling from the audacity of some of these people. Yeah. What do you got, Verlad?
Dues or not dues? Mine is just like, just be chill. Don't be the, do
That's
not.
fine. That's a great one.
Do not, no, like, don't be the super, like, the angry fan. Don't be like, like, it's the first quarter and 3rd and 7, and it's a overthrown ball. Oh, how are you going to do this? What is wrong with you? This is the problem I saw from the very beginning of the season.
Oh, don't be I saw this before the team did guy, right?
No angry overreactions. Angry overreactions are not to be tolerated.
Here's the thing, like, I say that, but I know that I'm a bad fan because I don't have a team and I just root for my fantasy football team.
Oh, no.
So people get mad at me because my rooting interests are all over the place. Like, I will say, like, for the team, score, but then because I've got the wide receiver that just caught the ball, and then when they get to the red zone and they're running the ball, I'm just yelling, stop him, get him, tackle him.
I feel like Verlad would not be invited over, right?
Probably not.
No?
Probably, yeah. He would probably come in, look at your rules, go, yeah, I'll see you later.
Do not, by any means, come over to my house to watch football empty-handed. Bring something.
Yes, you'd think that we wouldn't have to have these rules.
But that's the point of rules, right? Like, a lot of them are obvious that you think, like, wow, who would show up empty-handed? Let me tell you something. A lot of people will show up empty-handed to come watch football.
What you bring is dictated to a degree by what time the game is.
Right.
It's what day of the week it is.
Yes.
Because you have different games now, games on Mondays and
have some
Thursdays.
Use a little sense, right, when it comes to bringing something.
Yes.
Like,
can't go wrong with a 6-pack or something typically, although
of course
for the 10 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, I don't know. There might be something better.
There's a lot of guys that would disagree with you.
I know. That's why I said there might be.
Right. But you know what I mean? It's like, if it's
like the 6 a.m. kickoff in London, really?
Yeah. If it's a 6 a.m. kickoff in London and you're bringing a 12-pack, like, probably, like, I don't know, maybe stop and get some breakfast pastries or something instead. Okay. You know what I mean? Maybe bring some.
No. As someone that has to continually watch my favorite team play at 6 o'clock
or chooses to
8 o'clock in the morning, you do need a beverage.
The Bloody Mary then, or a mimosa.
Okay. No problem with
Chris,
that.
Are you saying like a 6-pack? If I'm coming over to watch Munchen Gladbach at your house at 6 a.m. on a Saturday and I bring a 6-pack, that's like, you're good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Also, quality of the 6-pack matters, especially early morning. Like, do not show up with a 12-pack of like Keystone Light.
And I will say this, Guinness is like a breakfast. If you have a Guinness, it's like having breakfast in the morning.
You know what? Now that you say it and I put that together, that actually makes, like, if there was a breakfast beer, it would definitely be Guinness.
See, we're actually making a lot of progress here. Learning some things. All right, to be continued. Thank you for your input. And this is, again, it's a public service. And I can't believe, frankly, that we're the only station with the courage to do this.
I know. We're good people. That's why.
We have a story time and the crossover coming up next year. Whitey Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turn them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million be? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916 520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Celebrate the crowning of the NTT IndyCar Series champion at the season finale Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, September 8th through 10th. International athletes hitting 180 miles per hour as they roar by. Experience autograph sessions, Ferris wheel, go-karts, and delicious Monterey cuisine. And don't miss IndyCars descending the famous corkscrew at astounding speed and accuracy. Tickets are on sale now at WeatherTechRaceway.com. Don't miss IndyCar racing and the season finale September 8th through 10th. It's the fastest action in America.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
The Fortinet Championship, which returns to Silverado Resort in Napa, is regarded as the most fan-friendly stop on the PGA Tour. And who can argue with players like back-to-back champion Max Homa and 15-time PGA Tour winner Justin Thomas? The field offers someone for everyone. But the Fortinet Championship is much more than golf. It's a happening. The event brings together world-renowned local chefs and wineries. Parking will be on the grounds this year with a new entrance through a fan village. Free concerts with Brothers Osborne and Stone Temple Pilots are also included in the price of admission. Tournament week is September 11th through the 17th at the stunning Silverado Resort and Spa in the spectacular Napa Valley. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit FortinetChampionship.com. And proceeds from ticket sales support local charities. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
This is the Silver and Black Report brought to you by ACR Solar and Home Services. How do you compete in a division where you have the least decorated quarterback and the coach with the fewest wins amongst the group? Well, the Silver and Black will attack it with some high-level talent. The 13th annual Top 100 Players as voted by the players featured 3 members of the Silver and Black, and the rankings were impressive. Max Crosby landed at 17, wideout Devontae Adams 13, and running back Josh Jacobs at 12. It will take more than these 3 to rack up wins, but this team did make the playoffs in 2021. That's your Silver and Black Report brought to you by ACR Solar. Summer is so great for many things, but it's also a great time to get your home evaluated for solar. And while you're at it, make sure that roof on your house, it's in good shape. ACR Solar and Home Services would love to meet you and show you the kind of quality you can expect from ACR. I went to ACR Solar and I could not be happier with the work that they did on our roof. So go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Listen to Oakland A's baseball on the weekends all season long right here on Sactown Sports, beginning with the pregame show brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
Hey, speaking of Watkins, here he is, Chris Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
How are you, buddy?
Good.
What's the matter?
Good. Nothing. I bet Jay Mars that my mic would be down when I.
I
when
finally
I
listen.
You have faith in Chris.
I finally won something today. Imagine that.
Proud of you. I know. I heard you lost Factor Fantasy.
Yeah,
We're
again,
all part of the same miracle. Yeah,
I'm taking it up to the Sactown Sports Supreme Court.
Under
Appeal
protest.
happening. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Another result.
So Whitey and Watkins
Goes in a
today
folder.
was Whitey and J Mars, and then you and
Gary Sharp. Yes. Yeah.
Six.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second time.
And
second
it's
time
not
going with
Sharp
Mr.
and Waddy, right? That's
No,
not.
that's
What about
yeah.
Sharpie and Waddy?
No, maybe
Waddy and Sharpie?
I just don't. I don't know the Waddy. It just doesn't-
Sharpkins.
That's better. That's better. I can find something around that. Sharpkins isn't bad.
We were just putting together a list here, and I think we're going to need more time for it before we get to story time. Rules that you can have in your den, wherever you watch football, your man cave, wherever. Rules that people that come in to watch have to obey.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you'd like to add to the list? Things like nobody cares about your fantasy team. You can't ask who's playing. You got to bring food. You got to bring something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see.
I heard Chris say, I agree with Chris, just like don't be Mr. Angry, especially in the first quarter.
Mr. Angry overreaction.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, that's the most annoying is when I'm just like, we're all trying to watch a game here, and then it's Mr. Overreact. I think Chris laid it out perfectly.
Right.
Like 3rd and 7, overthrow, and he's just losing his mind like the team just lost the Super Bowl, and it's like, there's 3 quarters left. Like, I promise you that's not going to be the most stressful moment of this game.
I had a guy I used to watch games with, like all of our buddies would get together. If a play wasn't like 10 yards or more, it was like a screw up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it's like First down, rush for 4 yards. What are you even doing?
Yeah, it's just you got to let the drive play
But
out.
you had mentioned it within the same voice of overreaction guy. It's know-it-all guy.
Sure.
It's the
Yeah.
dude. I said at the beginning of the year
Yeah.
they shouldn't sign him because he can't do X, Y, and Z. If they would have just listened to me,
to like kind of merge what you're saying with
That's
fantasy
all
guy,
guy.
I hate dude who's just like, yeah, I told you, just feed Debo all game long. And like,
I've
it's
been
just
saying it
like-
all season.
Yeah,
I've been saying
it's
it all
just like,
season.
yeah, Mr. Know-It-all is
This is
is
actually
definitely-
becoming the guys that you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
the rules, but the guys.
Somewhere
you know
out
what,
there,
know-it-all
there's like a guy who
fantasy
just
football
is
guy.
this.
Yes,
You know, he's
yes.
just all of
guys
these
you don't
things.
want to invite.
And the thing is, because you'd mentioned somebody, we all know those guys, right?
Sure.
We
Yeah.
all have those friends that we like. We have to invite them over because we kind of feel obligated, and you just really hope they don't show up. And then they're at the door.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm kind of, this might not be surprising, but like I'm very like territorial about who I am. Like I usually
yeah.
enjoy to watch sports by myself.
Oh,
or like
same.
it doesn't have to be by myself, but like
no.
like with people that like, you know, my
Yes.
girlfriend can watch with me, some of my close friends can watch, but like I don't like watch parties because like I'm trying to watch the game. And,
Right.
You know, I'm sorry, God forbid I'm trying to watch the game, but you know,
I
people
know.
are trying to have fun around.
No, I'm with you. I like to watch games either by myself or with select company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes we're working somewhere. You know, watch the game with the people at this place. Like, I can't see the game if I have to watch. with a bunch
Oh,
of
watching in
people.
public's the worst. Yeah, don't ask me to go. I love Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't ask me to watch Sunday at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like none of that stuff where it's like almost like overstimulation of just everything happening, and I feel like I end up watching nothing. I'm out.
Yeah,
No,
same.
sorry.
Sorry.
All right. Cross that off the
Yeah.
endorsement list.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings though. With never mind. It's fine. I think we got.
I think you meant
cross-sponsor.
Fire Wings.
Fire
You have
Wings.
21
Exactly.
different
Well,
flavors. to
they ain't
choose from.
paying me yet.
Fire,
So,
oh, that's true.
you know, stop paying Dave.
Right now, it's time for story time with Chris Verlaw.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Chris Verlaud gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not. Story time.
So this is weird because Jay, are you the guest or is Chris the guest?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a great question. Let's
You're
have
the-
Jay decide.
You're the head of
Yeah,
the class, Whitey.
Well, we don't actually have a guest today because Chris has his name on the show, and then you are the assistant PD. So, and you're doing the show. So, yeah, we don't really have a guest.
Okay, so there's no guest.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You call the shots, Chris.
all right, let's go to Rogers, Arkansas.
Oh boy.
This is courtesy of WREG.
That sounds like a really bad radio name. Hey, everybody, it's Rogers, Arkansas.
Rogers, Arkansas. 50-year-old Charles Eugene Ferris was paid $200 to protect a quote asset and follow him into the woods at Hobbs State Park. The pair went out to the woods and met another man around 10 p.m. The man was approached by two men and a gunfight broke out. Ferris said he was struck 6 times, but luckily he was wearing a bulletproof vest. Ferris returned fire before driving off with the asset. Ferris said the asset dropped him off at his vehicle before he dumped his weapons and drove himself to Mercy Hospital. It's a pretty unbelievable story, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
$200 to get shot at? That's not enough. Not even close.
Well, you guys are good detectives because it wasn't true at all. Ferris's wife arrived at the hospital a little after her husband had told investigators about the stories, and then she told the investigators that her husband and his 36-year-old friend Christopher Hicks both shot each other while drinking on the back porch of their home.
Oh my gosh.
Ferris then recanted his initial story and said he made it up to keep Hicks from getting in trouble. He then told deputies that he had been wearing a bulletproof vest when he asked Hicks to shoot him with a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle.
Hey!
The vest stopped a bullet, but still hurt and left a mark on his chest. He then became mad and unloaded the clip in Christopher's back when he put the vest on.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
I got an idea.
Hicks only suffered bruising from the gunshots. Ferris initially told his wife he was fine, but then started complaining about the pain, and she told him to go to the hospital. Ferris and Hicks are both free on $5,000 bonds. The judge ordered a no contact order between the two.
No, I feel like they got to go to jail. They got to go to jail.
What is the actual violation there?
Shooting somebody,
shooting
probably,
a gun, improperly shooting.
Yeah,
shooting a gun.
irresponsibly discharge of weapons.
Yes,
like that's ridiculous. Like
Okay.
that.
Because I don't have a
I
problem.
love how he's just turned his lie into like Equalizer 4. It's like
I got not there.
I got hired. And like
What's gonna happen is I'm gonna make it. We have this action.
Yeah, the lie, you shouldn't lie to the police. But other than that, I don't. That's a play on.
It's just, hey, if you're at your house with your gun,
it's just a bunch of idiots.
You got a bulletproof vest on.
Right,
Bro, my
that's
guy
what it's
got
for.
mad
It's
at his
bulletproof.
friend for shooting him and then clapped back, like
To be
unloaded
fair,
the clip on
to
him.
be fair, what else do you got to do in Rogers, Arkansas? I'd imagine.
I guess, yeah. I guess they were tired of shooting the beer cans, so they shot each other or something. That's
What do you guys have coming up today?
Tons of stuff. I mean, we're going to talk, George Kittle and Bosa might miss week 1. Going to talk some JaVale McGee stuff. We're going to talk some Kings, of course. Really excited.
All right. And then you and me tomorrow?
You and I tomorrow, yeah. And I think that's our only show together all week. So I'm going to cherish it.
You're
Yes,
stuck
me
with
too.
me on Thursday again.
Oh,
Awesome.
And I will be coming back for that crown.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I will be
Good luck.
rooting for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He may actually have it.
You've won 2 days in a row now, right?
I know. That's too many.
Show record?
Yeah.
Too many.
Personal record. Anyway, we've got Gary Sharp and Chris Watkins. They're next right here. Enjoy it. Sactown Sports.
Will Brandon Ayuk emerge as a star in the Bay this season?
Now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk.
Can Fred Warner lead the Niners defense to another deep playoff run?